boom, 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 boom. Oh, happy Saturday night. Tried out a couple different microphones that I have at home, and each one was too loud. Would have been beautiful, these earbuds, wireless earbuds. My voice was just way too loud, and I don't know how to turn it down in this crap. Peaceful Punksy. Oh my gosh. I need to throw, if you could do me a favor, when I was in the stream, I saw everybody having issues with the link, but if anybody's in here that's not subscribed to Punksy, Christy B, thank you for the beautiful comment in the very beginning. Hearts. But if anybody in chat right now is not subscribed to Pixie, do me a favor. And hey, Punksy, Kid Kitty, Christy. Yeah, if nobody in chat subscribed to her, please do me a favor and go subscribe and let me know if it works. Because I was in the stream and oh my gosh, crazy information. Is it okay if I use that, Punksy? I wanted to ask you, but I didn't want to ask you in Alex's chat. So I figured if you popped in, I would ask you in my chat just to respect her as a creator. And also I wanted to respect you too. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. Wow, I can't wait to show that. Holy crap. I couldn't fucking believe it. I could not fucking believe the shit that I was reading. I was like, geez, wow. Great find, Punksy. My mind was blown. It's like every night this week, whether it's Valerie or just different people that are involved with the brain stew on this show, like my mind has just been blown left and right. I appreciate you, Punksy. I'm just sorry about all the other BS that's been going on with the circle. Thank you. I appreciate that, Kid Kitty. And speaking of that, I think it's been a couple weeks now, but I think that after I had Valerie on, she was totally respectful, and I totally appreciate her for that. And I think I'm gonna go ahead. It's been a couple weeks. My comfort's been a little. Everybody that's been with me since that took place, they know what I mean. I think I'm gonna open up the chat panel tonight and allow somebody that I know. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, somebody I knew betrayed the trust. But I don't think, I think it's 3 weeks, 2 weeks, whatever it's been. I think it's been long enough. And I feel finally comfortable tonight that I'm just going to go ahead and have an open panel. So if anybody would like to join, anybody is more than welcome to tonight. It was a decision that I was even contemplating up until I hit the go live button. But I think it'll be all cool. So if anybody would like to, you're more than welcome. I'll open it up in a little bit. We got a Brian Enton Twitter special that's starting in about 23 minutes. So we'll hang out on Twitter for that. Yeah, definitely gotta check out that Punksy stuff. So what I'm gonna do is, because this is crazy, I'm gonna go ahead and play that first, so we can go ahead and get that played, and then we might go back to it after the Twitter special from Brian Enton. Let me see here. I saved it. 1 second. And thank you so much, everybody, for hopping in here. I appreciate it. There's a lot of stuff to go over tonight. Unfortunately, when I ended my stream, maybe 20 minutes after that, there was news about Athena Strand, unfortunately. Not good news. And I just didn't want to go back. I just, we had already been on for that long. And I wasn't just trying to be the person to capitalize on that, So we'll talk about it tonight. We go over our case updates every night. So we'll go over tonight. And plus, I wanted to hang out in some other content creators' streams and stuff. Just because I've been so busy with this since I started this show of, a month ago or something? A month and a week ago or something like that. I've just been so busy, and I haven't been able to support people in their chats and stuff like I always have. And so I did want to get on this afternoon, but at the same time, I was just like, you know what, I want to take this morning and this afternoon to hang out in people's chats and be a real contributor. So let's see here. Where is that video? There it is. All right, give me 1 second now. Yeah, so heartbreaking. And Christy B, I'm so sorry that the streams are so late for you. And I appreciate you hopping in here and hanging out tonight. I'll definitely try and do some more afternoon streams on the weekends or even days that I have off from work. But I just wanted to say to you specifically, I thank you very much for hopping in here, knowing how late it is. Okay, let me go down, drop my music, and let's check out Punksy's video here real quick before we see what's up with Brian Enton. Now, there's a special tomorrow night at 9 p.m. on News Nation, and I assume he's probably going to be streaming it on his Twitter, because he usually does the News Nation stuff on Twitter too. So I'll probably just end up watching his stuff and the program, his special, on Twitter. But if anybody does have the link to News Nation, please send it to me, EvilleCJ@gmail.com, and we can go ahead and play it out on there too. But I'm pretty sure he'll be playing it on Twitter. All right, is the music good? I like this music. I love this music. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, definitely follow Punksy. Wow, this is crazy. All right, let's get into this real quick. All right, this is him, 1.5 million bond. The Wise County Sheriff's Office confirms that this is Tanner Lynn Horner, 31, the man arrested and charged in the capital murder of Athena Strand. And I also want to say to Jen K, before I get into this, Jen K came into the stream last night and dropped the FedEx driver, he confessed, dropped all of this information, and there was a lot of stuff that was telling us that it was not, wow. I just want to say shout out to Jen K for that information before it was even being circulated. Wow. This is so sad. Thank you, Christy B. I appreciate it. I try and make it relaxing. Let's see. Aspie, non-neurotypical musician, metalhead, love is stupid and not to mention completely asinine. Okay. Former drummer at Walmart? What? Oh, I can't wait till I'm done using my phone for my microphone. Okay, sorry if I was choppy there. That's an interesting profile. Alright, I don't care about that. Left job at Albertson's drummer. I wish I knew a drummer I could jam with. That'd be sweet. Nah. Okay, there's just some posts. Boom, boom, boom. Oh my god, I hate the me that I've become, this needy, useless, forgotten one. Truthfully, I can't be the me I've washed up to be. You know what, let me switch to a different screen. I apologize. Hopefully this will zoom it in better. What if I take my face off? Will it make it even better? No. Okay. Sorry about that, everybody. I always forget about that. You know, I feel like putting a gun to my head. I mean, I know I won't because I like being alive and whatnot, but it sounds like a nice vacation from this pointless drama-filled bullshit we all call. I didn't know that was a vacation, because usually when you go on vacation, you come back, right? Okay. Now I, for one, think evolution is a bunch of bullcrap, but I've been told I have to teach it to you anyway. It was thought up by Charles Darwin. And it goes a little something like this. In the beginning, we were all fish. Okay. Swimming around in the water, and then one day a couple of fish had a... What? And the... What the hell? Oh my gosh. Yeah, you guys can read the rest. Wow. Wow, that's nuts. I'd rather have a girl. Dang. Look at all the hate on his messages. I'm tired of my life. How do you go on when the person you care for the most hates you? Your family is sick of you. Half your friends don't even like you. And when you look for love, all you'll ever be is just a friend to everybody. And to top it off, your dream, the one thing you're good at in life, is nearly impossible to reach. I apologize once again. Let me put your link up here on the screen. There we go. Facebook, I've come to the conclusion that I do not like. They're annoying and never know what they want. I want a woman older than me. Look at all the, like, every message I see, you see that red face. And then 3 shares. 3 shares. What the heck? Or underage? What? I guess I'm ugly, or my personality is... All I know is I'm miserable, whatever my... It's over 9,000. Wow, that didn't even cheer me up. Look at all those red faces. I mean, it's... Armin's a bitch, right? Hey, Jen. Yeah, I have the mind of a 5th grader. What? My mom says I should try dating. I'm considering it. Okay. And he said that he either attracts ugly girls or young underage. Going to the emergency room. What's up, cuz? Nothing, man. Just sitting in the ER. What are you there for? I'm bleeding from the butt. What? Fell asleep crying last night. I don't know why. Diane. I feel like I'm being used. What? Aw, prayers, Jen. Yeah, no kidding, Christy. And thanks so much to Punksy. Excuse me. Wow. Whoa. So is he I saw somebody was looking up his records, and there was at 16, 8 years ago. So 8 years ago would have been, he was 23. Trigger warning. So an unnamed old friend of mine who I've known legitimately since I was 13, this is Shay Marie, suddenly decided a few months ago she wanted to be friends with my R, Tanner Horner. It happened in 2014. I had just gotten my heart broken by my first love. I was reckless and would hang out with anyone and everyone, being the girl that hung out at band practice was legit so cool to 16-year-old me. I didn't know any better. Him and Cody Spiker were people I knew through people and became associated with. Yeah, thanks, Christy B, for sure. Punksy, she's got a lot of cool community posts too that are about, just not even true crime pictures and stuff, just real cool stuff. Definitely check out her stuff. The woman who said he SA has messages from a chat. It's sad how he's I think. Wow. First conversation is me telling her about Cody Spiker and the kind of person he was, including screenshots from the minor girl and the sibling of hers to prove it actually happened. He also worked at the school as a janitor. The second conversation is a reference point to what happened to me with Tanner Horner. His at the time girlfriend messaged me asking what happened. The third conversation is me confronting my friend about her being his friend, because who the fuck is friends with their friends are. SA, she gives some personal details that I black out because regardless of what happened, not my place to tell that story. The last conversation is her messaging me tonight, suddenly deciding she doesn't believe me. She also told people I have self-diagnosed anxiety because she's never seen me have a panic attack, despite me having one outside her place of work, and my Pizza Hut friend mentioned in a combo to calm me down while I was standing beside her car and she was inside. Despite my friend Taylor Bell and her bio mom picking me up from his house after I had to find mail to get his address so I could leave, and I was having a panic attack when I called her despite. Please like this video, everybody, too, on her channel. Despite me having been on medication for depression, anxiety, all this aside, all the support from me in the past aside, she decided to be his friend and has since become Cody Spiker's friend as well. She's willing to photograph someone who disputed CP in an essay for $50 because nothing is more important to her than her own success, even if she's promoting shitty people and losing lifelong friends in the process. She's claimed that it's regret sex, not SA, but I was drunk 16-year-old girl who was in and out of consciousness and he was 24. I would not claim SA if it wasn't legitimate, because I don't claim SA just because of age or regret. That's plenty people I regret doing things, but I am claiming SA with them. No. SA is SA. When the fuck did it happen and why did no one tell me? I knew he defended Tanner at first until I showed him the proof that Tanner was an SA. Yeah, but I'm supposed to. Dang, Punksy, this is a lot of stuff. I didn't even see this stuff. Claiming they did acid, dang. Wow. Definitely give this a watch on Punksy's channel. And give it a like too, because you know that helps all the creators out, no matter who it is. It's the free way to help. Wow. Yeah, I'll let you guys watch this and kind of go through these. She's claiming that he murdered. Wow, Punksy. That's crazy stuff. Thank you for letting me share that. I appreciate that. And Jen, I gave you a shout out. I'm sorry you weren't here to hear it. I wanted to thank you very much for that information before it was even being circulated. Some bomb information. Look at this information from Punksy tonight. Wow. Good community posts too about funny stuff. Those are always cool too. All right, let me see here. I believe this thing's about to start. Where'd it go? Let me see. We got maybe what? Oh, we still got about 6 minutes. I wanted to hold on a second here. I got an update from Phantom. Let me see here. Let me go ahead and play this link here real quick. Thank you, Phantom67. I don't know if you're in here or not, but you sent this to me earlier. See what this says.
Breaking news after a massive search for a missing 7-year-old girl in Wise County. The Wise County Sheriff says she was found dead. The sheriff says a delivery driver abducted her, murdered her, and has now confessed.
Here for all North Texas. Fox 4 News starts now.
Hello, everybody. I'm Heather Hayes. It appears a missing 7-year-old girl was murdered during a crime of opportunity. Athena Strand disappeared early Wednesday evening. The sheriff says her body was found today after evidence pointed to a delivery driver in the area Wednesday who the sheriff says kidnapped and killed her and confessed. Fox 4's Macy Jenkins had the breaking details out of Wise County. Macy.
Hi, Heather. Well, we got that news just after 10 o'clock tonight during a press conference with Sheriff Lane Aiken here in Wise County. He says that the body of 7-year-old Athena Strand was found earlier this afternoon. Now, the information about that suspect is that he is a 31-year-old FedEx driver named Tanner Lynn Horner. He confessed to abducting and killing the girl. Sheriff Aiken says earlier that her body was recovered about 3 hours ago. Take a listen to the press conference.
And continued good work by this investigative team, they were able to determine that the driver abducted Athena. And from the investigative standpoint, digitally as well as good old interviews, we think Athena died within just a very hour or so, the very hour or so after her departure from her home.
Now, just before 5 o'clock this evening, we came across a section of County Road 4590.
Yeah, again, great information, Jen. I was like, wow.
Several law enforcement agencies, including Wise County Sheriff's Office and Texas DPA.
I appreciate everybody so much. Thank you so much for being part of this show.
On the side of the road. Sheriff Aiken says information from interviews initially led them to that area, but it turns out that information was incorrect as her body was recovered elsewhere. Now, acting FBI agent in charge, Jim Dwyer, says it was digital evidence that led them to that FedEx driver, but he would not give specific details about that evidence. And officials would not comment on whether or not Athena was sexually assaulted, only saying that may come out later in the investigation. Sheriff Aiken says,
I'm just glad they found the guy.
With both.
They found the guy. He's getting, it's not one of these other crazy cases that we're always talking about. This is, the right thing is going to happen very quickly, hopefully.
Wise County and the Texas Rangers. Athena's case has personally been one of the most challenging he has ever faced.
It's one of the toughest investigations that I've been involved in. Because it's a child. And anytime there's a child that dies, it just hits you in your heart.
Now, earlier tonight in Lake Worth, Fort Worth police had set up roadblocks on Somerville Place Road. Aiken says this is where the suspect lives. They would not elaborate on whether or not any evidence was found at the home, but they did say that he lived there. Now, just to recap, we've been covering this story for a few days. The search for Athena started on Wednesday. Authorities say she got into an argument with her stepmother Wednesday afternoon, sometime after getting off of the school bus at 4:15. When the stepmom went to check on Athena around 5:15, she says the child was gone, and after searching for more than an hour, she called 911. The sheriff says Athena's father was driving to a hunting trip out of town. Her biological mother lives in Oklahoma. That happened. Authorities say Athena's family is understandably devastated after learning what happened to the girl a little over 48 hours ago. Again, that suspect name is Tanner Lynn Horner. He's a 31-year-old from Lake Worth, a FedEx driver. He is charged with murder and aggravated kidnapping. He is now behind bars in the Wise County Jail, and his bond has been set at $1.5 million. Heather.
Hey, ATS, thanks for hopping in.
2 days of searching for 7-year-old Athena
And I'm
Strand.
so happy this guy is caught. He's in jail. He's got a bond set. It's not going to be one of these crazy cases we're talking about every night where we don't know what's going on. Jen K again with the bomb information yesterday before it was even being circulated. Wow. Thank you. Kelt, be nice. What's wrong? Kelt, you need to get that coffee machine going. Yeah, I know. That was quick, wasn't it? That was real quick. That was crazy. Like, and even after, like, you know, what Jen K was telling us and stuff, and then we were like looking up, trying to find stuff. They cleared the search area. Quote, didn't find nothing. You know, it was like, huh. And then all of a sudden I end the show last night, and 20 minutes later, all of a sudden all this stuff starts breaking, and I'm like, holy crap, Jen was right since the very beginning. Yeah, I'm telling you. I said, hey, today on tonight's show, I was blown away. I was blown away last night when I got done. I told you I was going to say this tonight. Seriously. Oh, Cal. You need to get that coffee machine going, don't you? Or charge. Thank you, Kib Kitty. I appreciate that. Or charge that battery, Cal. Something. Coffee machine, battery, whatever it is. I don't know. Sometimes everybody's confused, but I'm never confused about that. I know what you're talking about. All right, let's go to this Brian Enton Twitter thing here. Is it even going? Hold on one second. Let me check some stuff in the background here. Am I late to the party? Oh, thank you, Malmac. Okay, there we go. Do I have to hit share? Well, hell, I should retweet it, right? Yeah, tweet it. Tweet. There we go. Retweet it. I think it's murder in my room. Get out of my... Oh, Kel, you cracked me up. Yeah, I know. Thank you, Melback. Even if she's not in here, she sent me a link to it. And after we watch this, I'll go ahead and open up the panel for whoever else wants to join and talk about whatever. We'll start that again. I haven't seen... Aw, I hope she's okay. She sent me the link a little bit ago. I'm excited for this special tomorrow night. When's your next live, ATS? I actually got to hang out in Alex's stream today. Before my stream, I was like, no, I'm not going to get on this afternoon. I'm going to just hang out. And there's some other channels, videos that I wanted to catch up on. Speaking of, the two channels that I was watching today as well was Justice Served Daily and Silky Southern Tea. I was watching, and what a sweetheart, by the way. Silky Southern Tea, in her last video, she not only gave me a shout out in the beginning of her video, but she also gave me a shout out at the end of it too, and I was like, what a sweetheart. What a freaking sweetheart. I didn't even expect it though, because I was just going there to watch it and support the video and stuff, and then all of a sudden in the very beginning she's like mentioned, I'm like, aw, and then at the end she did too. I was like, no way. What a sweetheart. Yeah, definitely. If you're not following ATS, Silky, Punksy, let me throw Punksy's up there again too. Wow, what a video today. And like I said before, she's got really cool community posts about crazy shit too. Yeah, I got to hang out in Alex's for a little while. That was nice. I feel bad because ever since I started this show, I've been really busy with it. I haven't been able to hang out like I usually have been, so I wanted to do it this afternoon and kind of. Yeah, the passion that she has for these cases is like, it's amazing. That's why I told her, like, I'd love to sit down and like do a one-on-one interview with her sometime, because she's so passionate and she's so knowledgeable and she's so dedicated to all these cases, and I just would love to hear her story, like what got her into true crime, you know, like where's her passion come from, what are her dreams, that, you know, what does she want to have in the future when it comes to why she's doing what she's doing on YouTube, you know, and just like any kind of message that she wants to send out, because I would love to do an interview with her where like she could even like put it on her page, you know, so if somebody wants to know about her and her story and why she's doing what she's doing on YouTube and where it all comes from, I think that would be like a great introduction for somebody for their channel, to just like, you know, not only you're like watching the discussions and you hear their passion, but there's like a backstory to it, because there's like, out of all these content creators and stuff, you know, everybody's talking about other people and stuff, and it's like I kind of want to be a person that helps highlight them as a person, and you know, so not only we know about the flower that we see, but we also understand the soil and where that flower came from. I think it'd just be a great, I know she's busy, so I don't know. I reached out to her. But I think it would be awesome. Come on, Brian Enton, what's going on? Am I doing something wrong? I think I did, didn't I? What happened here? Is this all I need to do? Thank you, ATS. Appreciate that. And the same goes to you too, ATS. Like, if you'd ever like to do that sometime, I'd definitely be interested. I know you're busy. I can't wait for that Watts documentary to come out. And I can't wait for that one. Is that still going to be like, is it before Christmas or after Christmas? Come on, Brian Enton. I don't want to miss your discussions here, but I might have to switch to something else. Let me look and see if there's anything new on the subscription list, the updated. I do have a bunch of videos that we could go through here, but I kind of want to, if we even get to some of them, but I kind of want to be here right for Experts Weigh In. Ooh, maybe we'll watch that real quick. Let me see if there's anything else that's new. No, I'm not seeing anything. So let me check Twitter real quick. I don't see nothing. Oh, There's a notification. Does that mean it's going? Yes, there we go. Brian Etten, come on, man. We were just here. You said it. Is that the... Yes, Kitty. In Colorado. Yeah. That's when I started watching let me put her link up there too. ATS and CDT. It was right after I first moved here, and I started watching YouTube a lot, and then I ran across CDT and ATS, and it was like, wow, like 4.5 years ago, something like that. CG, I need to jump right out. Oh, you're good. Thank you for hopping in here. Thanks for allowing me to share that video too. I appreciate that. And definitely go give her a follow if you haven't already. I'm pretty sure everybody has in here by now. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you. I'm going to switch to, since we got that set up for Brian Etten, I'm going to go ahead and switch to Alexandra Duggan real quick, see if there's any updates. We hear firsthand the impact that it's having on the students there. Please just be patient for information as those. Yeah, I know. We were talking about how those 2 surviving girls were getting so much. Man, I didn't know people were even accusing them. I always just was wondering how the call for an unconscious person came out. But when we watched that video last night about those messages from an unconfirmed person, but it definitely made sense. How it all went down, how the scene was contaminated, how the calls came into this. It wasn't expected for that. Yeah, that was a crazy show. I think it got blocked though, because it's got copyright crap all over it. So I don't know. Or it got blocked for some reason. I don't know. Somebody might have reported it for something. I don't know. All I know is it's not there. And I was too busy wanting to support other people's channels today, so I'll try and figure it out in the morning or something. But I didn't think I played anything that was that would get a strike or anything. I thought it was all news clips and stuff. Banfield had, I mean, that's what I usually try and stick to. Banfield had the 2 girls' names on the screen. I thought they weren't mentioning it. I don't know. I don't know. All I know is last night's show is not there. Some kind of strike report, something. I don't know. I haven't looked into it, like I said. I didn't even care, because last time I did that for the other one that got, I had to trim it or whatever for the BTK stuff. Oh my gosh, that took me forever trying to do that, and I was like, I'm not gonna let that consume my afternoon. I'm gonna sit here and hang out, watch Alex, watch Silky, watch Justice, get caught up. Yeah, nothing really new on here. What's this? Updated information, huh? They have collected over 2,600 emails, 2,700 calls, 1,084 digital media submissions. That's good. 113 pieces. Yeah, last night's show is not available, Kel. I don't know. I didn't think because usually I stick to news clips unless it's a couple creators that I watch and that I play their videos. And whenever I play the videos, I always put their links up even on the screen, So whenever we're watching somebody else's, I always have the link in chat, have the link up on the screen. I don't know. But yeah, I thought it was pretty much just those things we played. We talked about the FedEx driver. That was Jen K's information. I don't know. There was a lot of stuff that we did talk about that ended up becoming true, but at the time, even by the time I ended the show, it was believed to be total speculation, not even true. You know what I'm saying? After last night's show, I mean, it seemed like the FedEx stuff wasn't even a possibility or was, and then all of a sudden, 20 minutes after my show's over, thank you, ATS. 20 minutes after my show's over, all of a sudden I hear that, there was a FedEx driver and the FedEx driver kidnapped her. And the FedEx driver did confess to police, and the FedEx driver, I was like, holy crap. So I emailed her, because I was laying in bed watching YouTube and stuff, watching this. I'm like, no freaking way. So I got up and I emailed her real quick, and I was like, thank you so much for that information earlier, just I appreciate you. Last night's show got reported or something, so it's not up. I don't know. I wasn't good at when I had to do that stuff for the BTK, and I don't even know if it has anything to do with copyright stuff, because I don't think it did, because I usually play, like I said, just news clips, news videos, and then just a couple content creators, and I always display their links in chat, ask people to like the videos, and put their link even on the, like when I show a message, like the please like, I even have their link up there. So I don't know. I didn't want to dive my head into it and get consumed by that for the afternoon. I just wanted to, it's been a while since I got to hang out in Alex's stream, and I just wanted to be there and kind of throw support. I haven't been able to do it. I've been so busy with this show. Having a nightly shows, it's a lot. I don't usually say something. Yeah, that's what I mean, Jen. I don't know. I'll get into it tomorrow morning, see whatever I need to, the read more or whatever, see what it involves and all that stuff. But yeah, I try and be a factual show with a lot of respect and but at the same time have speculations and stuff too. But I try and always credit like crazy and be respectful. So I don't know. It could be just hate, I don't usually say something. I know, crazy information last night, Jen. Wow. I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out in the morning, because it would be a good video to have up there no matter what. It was crazy how it all unfolded. Song C, how you doing? Thanks for hopping in. We're just waiting for this Brian Enton special here on Twitter. As of 2020 nationwide, reported later. Wow, that's a crazy fact. Thank you for that. Just coming in here, spilling that on us. Thank you. Yeah, good evening. Come on, Brian Etten. It's supposed to be 7:30 and it's 7:50. Let's go, buddy. Yeah, he's got a special tomorrow night at 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central. So that'll be when the show will be live. So we'll definitely be watching that special too. I'm excited. I love his information. I love how he reports. And he's just an amazing reporter. So anytime that he's going to have something like this, I'm definitely going to be listening because I respect his opinion and his thoughts and his theories. Am I doing something wrong here? Is it already live? Hey, Allison, how you doing? Oh, there it is. Oh my gosh, did I have to
So
All right, let me turn this music down.
Suspect who did it.
No,
weapons,
FedEx truck not hit her.
Oh, hold on, they're coming out. Will you shoot it, Mo? Because I'm on the space.
Let me turn this music
So they're
down
coming
real
out
quick.
now. Sorry to interrupt you on this.
No,
one.
that's okay.
Mo's going to shoot it. So yeah, they've got bags.
Oh, we didn't miss anything.
And I'll tweet the video too, so everybody can see it after this. They've
Yeah,
got,
it's
paper
crazy.
bags. Look, maybe they got some different evidence. Where are they going though? Because they didn't park. They didn't park in the driveway.
Speaking of
They just
Allison,
parked
that
down the
was
street or
crazy
something.
about the picture
Yeah,
with the
they're
mask.
leaving with like paper bags. So they must have they must
Some
have gone in there
University of
specifically to
Idaho
get something. It seems like it was in the
information.
downstairs.
Every night
Yeah,
this
and
week,
now a
you
really big
guys.
paper bag too.
I love it.
So that's interesting.
Wow, yeah, that's new for tonight.
Yeah. So
Can you guys hear this? Okay.
Well, we'll
Okay.
have all of that. Like I said, a big focus on the victims and their families, right? Because this is what it's about at the end of the day. No matter how much speculation and everything is going down, we're trying to focus on them tomorrow night. We'll have that. We'll take you inside the Idaho State.
Here's the
crime
link
lab.
for this.
We'll even talk about the role that everyone on social media has been playing in all of this as well. Anything else you want to add, Brian?
let me just ask Mo real quick because I didn't get what did they have? Like, could you
They
tell?
had a couple of brown paper bags, which usually is evidence.
Yeah.
There's the
So
link
that's
for
what I just
this
thought. There was one
stream.
fairly big, large bag.
And I'll go ahead and put
Where did they
his link
park?
up in the chat in
Oh,
a second
They're parked very close to us. Yeah.
Okay.
for Twitter.
Okay. Well, sorry to interrupt you again, Paige, but yeah, I hope everybody will tune in tomorrow night at 9 o'clock Eastern. We'll have a full hour, and I'll try to get that video out soon of what just happened here. And Paige, thank you for all your hard work on the special. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. It's been feels important.
And thank
doing
you,
this
Brian
with you.
Etten.
So I'm grateful we're doing it. It feels like we're shedding something.
Thanks,
important,
everybody,
and
for
I hope
coming in here.
people tune in to watch it.
Okay, Paige, I'll talk to you later. And poor Paige, I'll probably call her in about 30 seconds.
Listen, you guys, he's already called me 11 times today. 11
Um,
times. It feels like you're on a phone call right now.
Yeah. And
That's funny.
thank you everybody for listening, and I'll keep you guys posted on
Wow,
everything,
crazy
and,
song,
we'll
C.
hopefully see you for the special tomorrow night. All right, see you guys.
Dang.
Bye, guys.
Look at you. Oh my gosh, Allison. Yeah, Punksy had a video she beautifully allowed me to share at the beginning of the stream, and wow. Again, I'm going to throw Punksy's link up there in the chat as well. Uh-oh, what happened? It ended? What? What? 23? We were sitting here the whole time. Did I miss something here?
Just wanted to give you guys a little update. Paige, you're on.
Hold on one second. I'll switch to the Twitter real quick. This is Brian Enton, Song C. He works for News Nation, senior national correspondent. He travels all over and reports live on location. So how did we miss? And we'll check out the videos after this, but how did we miss this? I don't understand that. I was sitting there refreshing and everything. Yeah, I know what I'm doing. Didn't you see it? I kept hitting refresh.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I kept hitting refresh. And then all of a sudden the tail end of it popped up.
Hey everybody.
Yeah, News Nation.
Here. Paige, you're on here, right?
It's kind of cool actually having this up while I'm playing it. Can I make this big?
Hey Paige, can you hear me? I think you have to unmute, Paige. My service is really bad here outside the house, so hopefully everybody can hear me okay.
I like this. Maybe I should just do this like this from now on. Let me see here.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, can you hear me
hey,
okay?
there we go.
Sorry, the service
There we
is
go.
really is just terrible here outside the house in Moscow. So hopefully I don't think there's much of a delay.
No, you sound good to me.
Okay, good. So thanks everybody for hopping on here for a little while. We wanted to do a spaces. Obviously, we've been covering the awful murders in Moscow, Idaho, every day, pretty much around the clock here, and Page 2 working back at the home base. And I'm outside the house right now. We've been working really hard. Paige has been working really hard on this special that we're going to have tomorrow night on News Nation, 9:00 Eastern, where we're going to go over everything that we've learned since we've been on the ground and new information. And we're going to talk about that in a second. But first, I just wanted to give you guys a little update at what's happening at the house. It's been super quiet. And then just about 10 minutes ago, and if you look on my Twitter, you can see the video. There were 3 law enforcement officers that showed up. They now have private security outside guarding the house, who showed up. They didn't park
And that's the video that we'll be watching after this is done.
in the driveway. So they like kind of came out of nowhere, but I managed to get video quickly with my phone. They looked like they had some kind of like briefcase, some kind of storage thing that they were brought in, and then we started seeing lights turn on in the house. Mo is with me, who's my cameraman, and you ran around the side of the house. What did you see happen? Could you see in the windows?
Yeah, I could. They were carrying evidence markers, which is kind of interesting because it's like an early process kind of thing. So I thought that was interesting. There's 3 of them in there, and they're poking around. I saw lights turn on in the second story left-hand window from the front of the house. They were in there for a while.
Evidence markers?
I saw lights turn on the right side of the house, first level. Those went out pretty quickly, and then after about 5-10 minutes, they turned off the lights. In the first window I saw. And
when you say evidence markers, what do you mean?
Huh?
The little cone-looking thing.
The cone, yeah, they're yellow. They look like triangles, essentially, yeah. And they're used to
Like the
mark
numbers on
them. They mark spots of interest in the investigation, I guess you could say.
Okay, so yeah,
So they
we're right
brought
outside, so we'll keep an eye
markers
on
back.
I know this is, with the families, probably, it's nice to see that they're still working really hard. I mean, it's Saturday night and they're out here working. So we'll keep an eye on it and let you know if anything happens. But Paige, let me bring you back in. Just kind of let's tell people a little bit about what we're working on for tomorrow night.
Yeah, so this is going to be an hour-long show focused on everything we know, everything we've learned, the questions we still have, right? We're going to be now approaching 3 weeks since this happened. And last time you and I chatted on Spaces, Brian, was a week ago. And I don't know about you, but it feels like we've learned like so much, but so little at the same time, kind of within like the last week. So we've been compiling all of it, everything from the timeline. Brian's going to talk more about the sit down with the family of Kaylee that he did earlier this week. And then one of the interesting things is we got an exclusive tour of the Idaho State Crime Lab, right? That's one of the questions, is all this evidence. They say they've collected 113 pieces of physical evidence. What's happening with that? Where is it going? The processing, how long all of that actually takes realistically, right? Because it's not exactly an episode of CSI. Where it's instant results. So we got to go in there and see some cool stuff that I'm excited to show you guys tomorrow night.
Yeah, that was a big deal that we were able to get into the crime lab.
Cool, that's going to be a good watch.
Interesting for people to see.
Huh.
I'm looking forward to sharing pretty much all of our conversation with Kaylee's family, her mom and dad and sister. I went to their house last night, spent quite a bit of time there. Just really nice people. Just heartbreaking what they're going through. And they were really open, and just, it's unimaginable because it's hard to lose a child at all, but the way this happened, and then the fact that Maddie, Kaylee's best friend,
ATS,
that was like a daughter to them too. So like the way they were,
it's gonna be a good watch tomorrow at 8.
Like,
I think
if something had ever happened to Kaylee, Maddie would have been there for them, and now they also lost Maddie.
And such a more personal experience because you got to actually go to the house.
Yeah, it was really,
wow.
I was really, I don't want to use the word honored, but like I thank them a bunch that they let me in their home and trusted me to do that and tell their story. And he's
such a good reporter.
They don't want us to stop covering this. Like, the families do not want this to go away. They're nervous that it's been 3 weeks and there's still, a killer on the run. And like they don't want this not to be in the headlines anymore. So, I feel like we're doing the right thing by staying here and especially dedicating an hour tomorrow night. Like, Paige and I had this idea, and our bosses sort of let us run with it. So hopefully everyone will tune in tomorrow night. Paige, there weren't any like significant updates today. I know you kind of get a lot of the updates from the police. What was it? Just it was really just new numbers today, right? In terms of like how many tips they have and that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's new numbers, and it's, to be honest with you, a large chunk, right? We're talking like 2,645 emails through the tip line, more than 2,770 calls, over 1,000 digital media submissions, which I think is interesting. They still got like 4,000 of the crime scene photographs. And this one was really interesting. And I'm not even totally sure what it means, but multiple 3-dimensional scans of the residence, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering if that's what they're doing tonight again, because was that like a Pelican case, Mo?
It was a Pelican case.
Is that what you call it?
Yeah, but I didn't see them carrying in the evidence markers, did you?
No, so maybe that's what was in there.
Yeah, but why would you keep that in a Pelican case?
I don't know, but it looks. My first thought was like, is it some kind of device in there to like scan?
That would make sense. Maybe the evidence markers were already inside.
Ooh, yeah. Tomorrow night's show's gonna be so nice.
Totally, they had lights on. Yeah. And now it's totally dark.
I'm excited, even more than I was before.
I don't know. They have flashlights. I saw them. They turned off a light and they were flashing flashlights around.
Okay.
So I thought that was kind of interesting. Maybe it was like a special UV light or something.
And they brought markers in too.
And the other thing about tomorrow night with the special is we're going to be live outside the house.
Live outside the house.
And sorry, one of our other photographers just showed up. And Paige, talk about the private investigation.
Sounds like a forward.
That'll be interesting. We found someone local that really knows the local area.
Yeah. He's from just over the border in Washington. Spent time,
we got some new Brian
in the area
interviews on News Nation that just
no
popped up too.
Truly compares to this one. It's just kind of an outlier in a lot of different ways, but has a lot of experience covering different cases. He's going to come out, join you outside the house.
Couple new videos to watch.
Give us some perspective inside, maybe investigative perspective of where he would be looking. Obviously, all of this is to each their own.
So we'll go to those right after.
Like that. But it'll be interesting to get sort of a take with some fresh eyes, right? Someone
Yeah, this is
really
going to be
talked to
interesting
before,
tomorrow night.
who kind of knows a little bit more on the investigative end, who may be able to shed some light on some things. Because while police have been pretty respondent to us when we wanted to have an interview with them, you've spoken to Aaron Snell with Idaho State Police, who's sort of the acting PIO for Moscow right now, and we've wanted to talk to the prosecutor, which I know that's something we'll probably talk about in a little bit, but they've made themselves available to us, and haven't really shied away from engaging with the media. But at the same time, like, we haven't had a press conference since November 23rd, like the day before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So it's been more than a week since we've heard anything officially from them, addressing the community, addressing family, addressing basically everyone who's paying attention.
Yeah, and I think when I've talked to Snell, I asked him about, like, when's the next press conference going to be. I think they feel like they're waiting for some kind of big piece of information, or really, significant update to have another one, and there really just hasn't happened, unfortunately. It has been a weird week, and those of you guys who have been following along know this. I mean, the communication has been a little weird. Like, initially they said that the house was...
Yeah, but if you go to Thursday night stream, I believe, of this show, and you look at the screenshots, if you just hover over the episode and then you see the screenshot section towards the beginning, and you read those screenshots of an unofficial account of what took place from beginning to end, from what the girls did from when they woke up until after it was a crime, pretty much a crime scene at that, from that point to that point, like, it totally makes everything make sense, especially with the cops not releasing information, with how the unconscious person was called into 911, how that even took place. Like, crazy information from you guys. Thank you.
Targeted, that one of the victims was targeted.
Ooh,
That I interviewed
spaghetti and salad. Oh, I love salad.
It was the actual residence, like the house that was targeted. Then police said no, and said that we do believe it was targeted. And it just, the communication has been a little off. And, like, I really do think police are trying their best and working around the clock. I mean, like I said, the investigators just got here again just now.
Right.
But, like, some of it has been confusing.
And the whole press conference thing, it's a catch-22, right? They show up and they don't have any new updates, and everyone's like, why'd you do a press conference if you had no new information to share? You don't have a press conference. Everyone's wondering what the press conference is. Do you know what I mean? You sort of can't win with that situation.
Right. No, totally. So, like, I was a little late to this, just because I was off and I was covering something else early on. So I've been now in Moscow for a week, but Paige has been on this story since the beginning. I'm just curious, like, did you think it was going to be 3 weeks and we were still going to be in this situation with such little information?
No, not at all. Not at all. I think I even said on here a week ago that I thought that they were close. You just kind of, everyone you talk to who has any sort of experience with crime scenes has been saying to us, like, think about the amount of evidence that must have been left behind, right?
Right.
We're going to kind of shed some light on the process when it comes to a crime lab. Like I said before, it's not really as snap your fingers and we've identified somebody as you might think it would be. But still, 3 weeks, that's a long time for these 4 families, for this town that, the provost at the college told you, like, he's scared too.
Yeah, that was interesting. Yeah, the dean of students, that was kind of one of those moments, like, there's always moments with every story you're covering where you're like, oh, wow. Like, I asked him, what do you say to the students who are scared? And he said, I tell them I'm scared too. So, I mean, everybody really is nervous. And talking to Kaylee's parents last night, they don't want to have the funeral yet because they have this fear that the killer would show up at the funeral. Everybody's uneasy that this person is still out there.
Yeah, I totally feel the parents. Like,
I just want to walk around inside the house, and I know
I thought the same thing when I was watching the vigil. I was like, I hope they have people there scanning that frickin' crowd. You know, these they tend to do that. So it's scary to think about, but it's frickin' true.
No video because we're on Spaces, but I'm just curious if I can see, like if there's any lights on. Did you see anything, Mo? No. I'm just gonna walk to the side. It's their third story. It's like super slippery out here. And by the way, Paige, it's supposed to snow like tomorrow. I think it's like 70% chance. So I think during the special, we may have to prepare for.
You're gonna have a snowy backdrop. You might have to bring out the hat.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but yeah, it's really dark in the house. So I don't know like what they would be doing in there.
So put this into perspective a little bit for those who haven't been standing outside the house for, a week now. How often do you see people going in and out and like law enforcement presence there?
So let me say, I just walked to the back of the house. It's totally dark inside, and the three of them are in there, which is interesting. And the lights were on.
You can hear the snow crunching.
All the lights off.
Snow crunching.
So I don't
even think about it.
Going up this one hill, but sorry, what was your question again? I got distracted.
Just
the cold. I bet.
Perspective, how often you see someone from law enforcement there?
Not very often. I'm trying to remember the last time. The last time I saw someone here was yesterday. I tweeted that video too. It looked like.
Does he just chill in the car or something the whole
time?
Kind
of a younger person.
You should have like a camper or something. At least you can be we cooking food and look out the window of the camper.
They went in. Sorry to get in your way.
Yeah, it does sound amazing, doesn't it? See,
it's not like they're coming and going like they did early on.
She always makes me hungry while I'm doing my show. Then I gotta wait to eat until I'm done.
It looks like they're in one of the downstairs bedrooms, and they do have the lights on. They have the blinds closed, but I can see through like a little crack. So they're doing some kind of investigating down there. But again, I think this is, it makes me optimistic to see that they're still out here doing this.
Yeah, totally.
They're looking at something in one of the downstairs bedrooms.
And one of the highlights earlier this week was the towing of the cars, like in terms of action going on outside the house.
Yeah, and by the way, like it's the downstairs left bedroom that they're in now, and
I can't wait for the special tomorrow night.
None of the victims were found.
Yeah,
on the downstairs floor. So I don't know like why they're focused on that room, but that's kind of interesting. But yeah, the cars were here up until this week, and then they towed them away this week, and that's something.
Yeah, I know. ATS, isn't that weird? Three markers they brought with them.
Supportive of the police, and the dad told me, he's like, I looked into the head detective's
that's very
eyes,
interesting.
and I saw a good, smart man, and they support the police and feel like in many ways they're really trying and working as hard as they can, but at the same time there's just things with that they're just they don't understand what's taking so long,
right?
And then what reminded me of that was the cars. They didn't understand why the cars weren't towed for more than 2 weeks. There's just things that they question. The dog the dog that was found here, was taken right to the Humane Society and not like processed to see if there was blood on the dog or anything like that. Things like that. They're just questioning whether in certain parts of this the right decisions were made, and they're just growing more frustrated that this is taking so long. So which you really can't blame them at all. Just regular people are frustrated. Can you imagine, being so intimately a part of this? It's just got to be awful,
Right. And we heard from Dana's mom on Ashley Banfield's show last night for the very first time, and she was in tears, understandably, with sort of the same message. She even said she feels like she learns most about what's going on from watching the news.
Yeah, that was interesting when I heard her say that too. And then she also said it was interesting that Xana's dad was here a week before the murders, changing the locks on Xana's bedroom door, which was kind of an interesting tidbit.
So Xana's dad was there a week before the crime took place, changing the locks on Xana's bedroom door? Now, I do have a video to play tonight somewhere in my mix that I saved over the last, since last night. I go through my list and I save each one that sounds interesting. There is some there. I remember there being a video about the dad being there a week before, so we'll get into that. We picked her up some more food and baked. Aw. Okay, Cal. That's interesting. Yeah, and I know I have a video about it.
The way it is here, so there's a lock obviously on the outside of the house, which is a coded lock, and then there's code locks on the bedroom doors too, because like you can, because it's like, you know, a college house where students live, so you might want to have your own door locked too.
Right.
So that was kind of an interesting tidbit. That was her first time talking last night. Are you there, Paige?
You just have to feel for them.
Hey, Chemistry Queen, thank you for joining.
You know, we sit here every day, going back and forth on the phone, right? Being like, what are we?
So we just found out a little. This is Brian Nenton's prep for his News Nation special on Sunday, tomorrow night, and we'll be checking that one out too. Totally respect his opinion and reporting. He just said that Xana's dad was there a week before the crime took place, changing the locks on the bedroom door. Aw, thank you. I'm happy you're here. I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
What are we learning new? And then you factor in the emotions of these families in this town.
Yeah, no, totally. And like at the vigil, it hit me, the emotion of it. And then also obviously last night at their house, just like, you know, hearing what they're going through. And I said this last night on Banfield, and we'll get into this in the special, but you know, Kaylee's ashes were at the house, and they also had Maddie's ashes there, and they had them next to each other with some flowers in the middle, but right next to each other, because they wanted them to be together right now. And they were telling me how Maddie's family felt that way too. So I mean, just stuff like that, just so sad, you know.
Yeah, Xana's mom just described them as just a group of, they kind of found their people. They were just like a great group of friends. Everyone
you could tell on their videos,
who feels some sort of connection to this story. I know I do. It's because you can see yourself there, right? You can see yourself.
What a loving
college,
puppy
living
too.
With some of your best friends.
And all their
it's such
videos.
a special time. I think that's why it hits a lot of people. You can like see yourself there and being like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, no, totally.
So I want you to talk while you're out and about, but I don't want you to be too cold. I know you got stuff to do and a couple more live hits tonight.
Yeah,
but
I'm actually going to get back in the car real quick. Hold on. Wait,
okay. One of the things that you said to me a couple times as we've been talking this week, and we were talking about what it would be like to be in the town.
The digits are
cold. To you was this is of the layout of this neighborhood and this house. Like, it's not isolated.
Not at all. And I'm looking forward. We're going to do that with the private investigator tomorrow, who's actually familiar with this area and has worked cases right here before. He's going to be on live during the special. But it's very
nice. I can't wait for the special.
Apartment buildings
tomorrow night.
Stories right next to the house. There's a couple of them.
About an hour after we start the show.
And that was the thing that surprised me the most, was when I would see the house in pictures, I thought it was kind of like alone or just in a neighborhood, but it's not just a neighborhood. It's like a really
I'm not sure about that song,
neighborhood. So we'll show people around tomorrow night. And I just hope people will be able to tune in, because we've obviously been working really hard on it.
I haven't heard that song C. Haven't heard that. But I kind of, and this is the reason why I like to use a lot of like news clips for when I'm doing my show, is because I kind of like to just watch it as everybody else does. So I kind of just save to watch them until the show starts, and then that way it's more of like, I don't know, I feel like that's when the brain stew really clicks in. Like, I could watch all this stuff and then, you know, earlier, and then when I get on, then all of a sudden I might not think about this or about that, because I always got this on my brain or this on my brain. But if I'm watching it live with everybody, it's almost like it I don't know how to explain it. It's more of a thought creating process or something. I don't know how to explain it. Sorry. Something like that. So that's why I like to watch them until the end. But I haven't heard that. But if anybody does know the question of what Song C is asking, please put it in the chat. I was wondering if she was calling from prison as well. Is that why you think they might have changed the lock? Is that why you bring up that question?
And I really want like this to stay in the
Where is the mom in prison anyway? Where is she located?
news. Like with other stories that we've worked on, Paige, it's like, you know, you just don't want people to move on. And I know that's sort of the natural thing that people do, but it's like and I heard this from the parents too, like they just don't want people to stop caring, because that's when it feels like it goes cold. So I'm just happy we're doing the special tomorrow night.
I hope it don't.
Yeah,
Yes.
I am too. And
I can't wait.
Your
Brian Enton's so
conversation
awesome.
with Haley's family is so emotional and so
Yeah,
important.
Kel.
That I hope people tune in, you know, to
Yeah, it's like we're all riding in the same spaceship, you know? Exploring thoughts and theories and stuff that just makes sense. 50,000 bond, okay. And it was drug related, right?
hear that in itself, but we're really focusing on the victims and these families, right? There's so much speculation over suspect, who did it, murder weapon, crime scene.
Oh, hold on, they're coming out. Will you shoot it, Mo? Because I'm on the spaces. So they're coming out now. Sorry to interrupt you on this.
No, that's okay.
Mo's going to shoot it. So yeah, they've got bags, and I'll tweet the video too, so everybody can see it after this. They've got like paper bags. Look, maybe they got some different evidence. Where are they going though? Because they didn't park. They didn't park in the driveway. They must have just parked down the street or something. But yeah, they're leaving with like paper bags. So they must have gone in there specifically to get something. It seems like it was in the downstairs. Yeah, now a really big paper bag too.
Hey, Kel. Go tubing. Did you get that coffee machine brewing? I think you did, didn't you?
That's interesting.
Wow, yeah, that's new for tonight.
Yeah. So.
Well,
Okay.
we'll have all of that. Like I said, a big focus on the victims and their families, right? Because this is what it's about at the end of the day. No matter how much speculation and everything is going down, we're trying to focus on them tomorrow night. We'll have that.
It's going to be a great special tomorrow night. I can't wait. I'm excited.
We'll even talk about the role that everyone on social media has been playing in all of this as well. Anything else you want to add, Brian?
Let me just ask Mo.
Maybe I'll get on an hour earlier tomorrow night.
What did they have? Could you tell?
A couple of,
and then we'll be in 2 hours before the special.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So
I'll be throwing up
fairly big, large bags. Which I wonder what that could have
Where
been.
did they park? Just down.
Whoa.
Oh, in that
They
Jeep.
parked very close to us, yeah.
Okay.
Hold on a minute.
At the end of the day, no matter how much speculation and everything is going down,
Hold on
we're
a
trying to
minute.
focus on them tomorrow night. We'll have that. We'll take you inside the Idaho State Crime Lab. We'll even talk about the role that everyone on social media has been playing in all of this as well. Anything else you want to add, Brian?
Let me just ask Mo real quick because I didn't get what did they have? Like, could you
They
tell?
had a couple of brown paper bags, which usually is evidence.
Huh.
So
That's what I just.
They
saw.
brought
There's
3
one
markers
big,
in to the
large
bottom
I
room,
wonder what
the
that
bottom
Where did they
stairs,
park? Just down?
that's them.
Oh,
or
in
the
that-
bottom
in that Jeep.
floor.
Very close to us.
Okay. All right.
3 markers,
Well,
evidence
sorry to
bag.
interrupt you again, Paige, but yeah, I hope everybody will tune in tomorrow night, 9
Oh,
o'clock Eastern.
We'll be there. 9
we'll have a
o'clock
full
Eastern, so
hour,
8 o'clock
and,
Central.
And I'll try to get that
Full
video out
hour.
soon of what just happened here. And Paige, thank you for all your hard work on the
Okay,
special. Really
so
appreciate it.
Before I get to my
Yeah, of
other
course.
2
It's
new videos
been,
that I have for
feels
tonight,
important doing this with you. So I'm grateful.
yeah, we are going to go to his page real quick. So this is Brian Enton again. And let me see here. So this is the video he's talking about. 3 members of law enforcement just went into the house, not sure if it's local detectives or FBI. They walked up from somewhere and didn't park in the driveway. They brought an evidence bag and 3 crime markers. Count. I'm just saying I might go on an hour early. I'm not sure though. But I feel like maybe we could get a couple hours of other stuff and then kind of in the night on after that Brian Denton special in a little bit. Ooh, there's that bag. Or it's like a suitcase. So that must be the kit. Hold on a second. This guy right here, was he the guy that was, remember the video from the other day when there was 3 people coming out of the house? And they were all wearing like regular clothing? Isn't this guy with the hat, doesn't he look like he was right here? Doesn't he look like he was the guy that was getting in the passenger side of the vehicle? Because there was an older gentleman that had like a long like trench coat type coat. He got into the, yeah, this is from just a little bit ago, Chemistry Queen. But a couple days ago there was like I think it was an SUV. I don't remember SUV or car. It was a 4-door. I think it was an SUV. But there was 3 guys that were walking out. It was parked on the right side of the house, right over here. Right over off to the right of this. And the guy in the trench coat, gray hair, got into the driver's side. I think this guy was the guy that got to the passenger side, and then there was another individual that got in the back left side, I believe. I'm not saying this is the same person. It just sticks out to me for some reason that he was the passenger. I don't know. I'd have to watch it again. I wonder what they're... Well, I think he says he's going to get into it tomorrow night. Yeah, this guy right here. Lights now turning on in bedrooms. Investigators looking around. Now using private security to guard the crime scene. All right. And this is the next video that I have. So I'm going to go ahead and go to my sub list. And we're going to click on that one. 1 second. This one just came out as well. Right, 1 second. We're going to see if Alexandra has any updates while we watch this. No!
To take a deeper
I
dive
hit the wrong button.
Dozens of
Here we go.
tips and crime scene pictures. Still no suspect in the murder of 4 Idaho college students stabbed in their sleep. Families mourning their loved ones while looking to the police for answers as agonizing weeks.
I love
stretch
your
on.
comedy.
News Nation's Brian Enton joining us live now from Moscow. And Brian, some of these family members are frustrated. Are we any closer to a suspect than we were 3 weeks ago?
Unfortunately, not that we know of, Natasha. The latest we have heard from police is that there is still no known suspect and not even any persons of interest. The prosecutor told me this week they don't have any video of a suspect on camera, and they're still soliciting tips from the public now 3 weeks after the murders in the house behind me. You can see this is still a crime scene tape. The police department here has hired private security to keep an eye on the house at all times as the victims' families grow frustrated. I spoke with Kaylee Gonsalves's family, her mom and dad and sister, who say they're just growing impatient and they want more information from the police. Is anyone acting differently since the murders? I mean, is there anyone that you have a weird feeling about? Or that comes to mind?
Yeah, I would say not in the immediate circle by any means, but a few of the names that have been circulating around, I think it's hard not to kind of, dig into this. And I don't know how much of that is just because we have so little information from law enforcement and how much of it really is, a sister or a father's intuition.
Can you elaborate at all? I don't know. You don't have to give a name, but I mean, is it someone that she knew, or?
I have something to say about that. I just feel like there's been a couple individuals that were cleared very fast. That may not, maybe he should not have been. And yeah,
share the story.
Just really fast.
If you can dismiss
an hour later, and we're like, what? And I don't know. I don't know anything about those individuals. I just know
right.
They were people
Yeah,
that
the poor
definitely should have
families.
been looked at, and
I don't know what would prevent you from sharing somebody's alibi.
Yeah, I think that's what we're struggling with. So it's like, we know what we know. We've, fought for Jack, Kaylee's boyfriend, and, we still stand that way. So I did just kind of want to clear that up while we're talking through this ambiguity that, that's not what we're honing in on here.
We don't want to make more victims out of innocent people.
Exactly.
We definitely don't want to do that.
And so what the family is talking about is there's been a number of people involved who police have said have been cleared at this point. The family is saying they want to know what the specific alibis are. They want to know the evidence and proof of why police cleared those people. Also, Xana Kernodle, that's another one of the victims. For the first time, her mom spoke out last night to Ashley Banfield. Something very interesting. She revealed that Xana's father was actually
that video
at this
coming
house
up tonight
within a
too.
week of the murders. Listen to what she said.
Her father mentioned to me that he had just went and replaced the lock the weekend before.
You said her father mentioned to you that they had replaced the lock?
Yes, that he had fixed it or something. But yeah, he said that he had fixed it the week before, just to make sure.
The week before.
It's interesting because the way this house is set up behind me, there's a coded lock on the front door, and then we're told the bedrooms, at least most of them, have individual coded locks into the bedrooms. So the fact that her father changed the lock is interesting. We're trying to figure out how the killer got into these rooms. Were the doors open or were they closed? All of that still under investigation. Natasha?
All right, Brian Enton live for us in Moscow, Idaho.
This special tomorrow night is going to be so awesome. All right, let's see if we got anything new from Alexandra here. And yes, I just wanted to say thank you all for being here tonight. I appreciate it. Actually, Cal, I'm going to go ahead and open up the panel in case anybody would like to join. So if you feel like hopping in and anything that you want to talk about, when it comes to these cases, there's the link if you want to hop in. All right, let's see if she's got anything new here. All right, I'm seeing anything here. I wish I could zoom in on that. Let's see. No suspect has been identified. And only vetted information that does not hinder the investigation will be released to the public. There is speculation without factual backing, stoking community fears. Yeah, why? I didn't even know about this until last night or the night before. That there's a lot of people claiming that the two ladies that survived were somehow involved in it. And I'm just like, I mean, it is weird how the call came about and stuff like that, but I never ever thought that that's just crazy. It was Parents Week the weekend before. Thank you for that. Good info. Parents Week. All right, let's see if there's anything new here. And then I'll go into some of these other videos that we got. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything. All right, I'm going to go to my show folder here. And then I believe we can go right to that interview with the mom on Banfield. As soon as I can get to it. Got a bunch of new videos here. All right. And then also I wanted to, they came up with a verdict for this Pike County massacre that we covered a couple times in previous shows over the last 2 weeks. They got the verdict, so we can watch the verdict on that as well. All right. This mom interview, where's it at? That was an interesting interview with the family there. Right, it's somewhere around here, mother. All right, here it is. Let me see some. So in y'all's opinion, do you think the kids were targeted and one in particular? I had Valerie on, I think it was Monday or Tuesday night. And she did some pretty interesting digging when it comes to the police calls and her theory on what she feels took place. I always thought it was a jealous student, but her theory on what she came up with the information she was able to obtain, her theory makes sense as well, that it was something that started from one party, went to another location, and then it was two people that went after the second floor and then the third. So I don't know if it's one. I think it's still one particular was targeted. The whole thing about the house itself being a target, I don't understand that, because if the house was, then I think all three floors would have been, you know. I feel like it definitely had something to do with the calls that came in that night of somebody that's intoxicated messing with her boyfriend. And I think it has something to do with the events that took place at the Sigma Chi house party. Because a few days ago, the FBI came out and said that was a possible location. There was two of them, the Sigma Chi and downtown Moscow. So it just seems like, and then when we had Valerie on, that location, the Corner Club, is also in downtown, right on the outskirt of it. So I don't know. It seems like it had something to do with, like, Ethan was a target in some sort of way, whether it's my theory or Valerie's. Yeah, something. It's going to be interesting to watch this Brian Nenton special tomorrow night. See what this, what's new, his perspective. And I think we could all, after that, I think we should, discuss maybe what we all feel like might have took place. Because, I mean, it could be so many things. There are levels of targeting, like someone. That's true too, Song. That's a good point. Family seems to think there's someone in the associates level. Yeah. Yeah, we did, when I had, man, that was a good episode with Valerie. She got in pretty early in the episode too. I do have her name in the description, so if you go back, it's a Monday or Tuesday, I think. It was crazy. At first, the Moose Lodge was an interest, but then after the Moose Lodge, you look right to the right across the parking lot alley, and the Corner Club's right there too. And it's right on the very top of the downtown Moscow area. Only a 6-minute drive, 7-minute drive, something like that, from the Sigma Chi up to the, see, they say name. Yeah, totally agree, Song C. Yeah, but they're also not releasing all the information either. Because they haven't released what took place between 9 p.m. and 1:45 a.m. And if you look back at what the police are reporting, they're reporting that they left the Sigma Chi around 9 p.m. Which, yeah, but they left at 9 p.m. If you look at the call to if you go back to Valerie's interview on the show here of what she had, the call was placed at like 9:01 for an intoxicated person messing with their boyfriend. The cops show up. The guy took off. And so the police were not able to make a report. So then they tell you that they left the party at 9 p.m., right? We don't know what happened between 9 p.m. and 1:45, which is when LE is stating that that's when they returned to the house. And we think that they went to the corner club. At first, we thought it was the Moose Lodge until she actually called the Moose Lodge. And while she was on the phone with the Moose Lodge, we're on Google Maps. And all of a sudden, you look to the right, and the corner club is right there. And she even said that that's a popular spot for all the college kids and the frats and all that other stuff. And when they're not gonna, it's probably a spot where they're not worried about, you know what I mean? You can't tell me that because you're not underage in college that you're not getting served somewhere. It just exists, you know? It does. So it seemed, and there was another call to that location as well later that night. And so Valerie's theory is that somebody started something at the party. Then the issue went to another location, which is around the corner club. All right. And then they went back to the house, and she feels that two people then came in the sliding door. Ethan came out, and she said that she feels they didn't come there to actually do the crime, but the issue of whatever this person had and brought a friend, the issue escalated, which turned into them going after Ethan, then Zaina coming in, them going after her, hearing the girls upstairs rumbling around, calling all the phone calls. And so they knew somebody was upstairs. They didn't hear anything downstairs. So they didn't think that anything was downstairs. They heard people upstairs, and that's why they went upstairs. And when you look at, I don't know, it just makes sense. I don't know, Song C. It's just crazy stuff. It's been and thanks to everybody that hangs out with me on this show. Like, this week has been so amazing when it's came to all of the information, whether it's speculation or whether it's information that is confirmed. Like, this information this week has been the best so far since I started doing this show. And I just want to thank you guys for that. That's where the blonde girls were. It's a possibility. Not the blonde girls, Song C. Zaina and Ethan. And I believe that's where the blonde girls were at, was at the corner club, right? The LE is just not releasing all the information, but that's what I thought I heard, was the blonde girls were there too. Not that they were all four, but that's what I definitely suggest you to go look for the title where it has Valerie in it with guest Valerie. I'm telling you, your mind's going to be blown. I think something happened at the frat house. Yeah, that's why. And then you look at that call, 9:01 p.m. for somebody that was intoxicated messing with her boyfriend. And when the LE shows up, the person already took off, so there was no report that was able to be made. Thank you, Chemistry Queen, for sure. So I believe something happened at the frat house. I mean, it just makes too much sense, and it has the whole time. You know what I mean? It's just they're not releasing what took place between 9 and 1:45 a.m. And so that leaves it up for speculation, and that's where the brain stew comes in, and it's amazing, and I appreciate you guys for it. Because even though we all have different theories or we all have different thoughts, it's we mix them all together, and then we take bits of this and bits of that, and then all of a sudden it's like, man, it just makes too much sense. How can they not know where? It's not that they don't know Song C. They're just not releasing it. They're just not releasing it. And you just got to go. It's not confirmed information. You just got to go to the stream where I had Valerie on and we discussed different things, and I'm doing Google and she's making phone call and she's showing me all this information that she's uncovered, and it just makes way too much sense. And I just want to say thank you to Valerie again too. That was an amazing night of information as well. Everybody, thank you so much. All right, let me get into this video real quick here. This is the mom's first. Ooh, gotta like it too. Mother of slain Idaho student speaks for the first time.
Xana Kernodle's mom, Kara Denise Northington, is on the phone with me now. Kara, can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
Can I just ask you off the bat how you are getting by in this terribly sorrowful time?
Not easily, not good. I mean, I don't know what to say to that.
I can't even imagine the pain that you and your family are going through. Have the police been helpful to you, Kara, to understand some of the things they can and can't say?
You know, honestly, no. Honestly, no. They haven't said anything. I learn more on the news and on TV than they have said to me.
Have you had a chance to talk with some of the other parents of the other 3 kids who were there that night and share information amongst yourselves?
Not really, honestly. I've just been dealing with my family, and we've just been absorbing this shock.
Can you tell me, Kara, what you do know about this terrible night?
Well, what I do know is not nearly enough. We need more answers. There is so much more that can be done that has not been done. And I just know that there's GPS, NASA, to find out who went into that home that night. I know that.
Well, they might not be releasing that, Mom. I mean, that's kind of obvious. Song C, I don't know about any of the survivors posting Instagrams. Those were Instagrams from friends of theirs that are not confirmed. But if you go over the post and how everything went down, it just makes complete sense. And if nobody knows what I'm talking about, I can summarize it real quick for you. Just let me know if you'd like me to do that. I can do it real quick, but we'll get back to this video. Just let me know if you want me to.
Why hasn't that been looked into? Why hasn't that been accessed?
Kara, can I ask you that there is a mysterious sort of 4-hour and 45-minute block of time that's unaccounted for by the police timeline. The police say that your daughter Xana and her boyfriend Ethan were at the Sigma Chi house from 8 until 9 p.m., but then they don't have any information on where they were from 9 p.m. till 1:45 a.m. Do you know anything about that from either your information from the police or Ethan's family or anybody?
I maybe can do.
So basically, what happened is the 2 surviving roommates, and these are off of Instagram posts from supposed friends, that the reason that they posted the explanation that I'm about to explain to you is because they felt it was unfair that their friends were, or not friends, but people were speculating that the two roommates had some sort of involvement because of what the LE was only releasing, okay? And so when you go through these posts, it says that the two friends in the bottom floor woke up, opened up the door from the bottom floor to the second floor. They looked over. That's when they first noticed that the screen door was left open. Then they looked to the right, and that's when they saw Ethan. And they knew that it was a messy scene. So at that point, that's when the two girls ran out of the house from the downstairs, ran out of the house. One of them started to call 911 and fainted after she dialed the numbers. That's why they had already called their friends to come over. And they called Ethan's brother. And then that's when friends came over. When they showed up, they noticed the girl that passed out calling 911 was unconscious. And so that's why another friend of theirs ended up being on the roommate's phone, talking to the 911 operator, letting them know that their friend had passed out. And they were trying to get information from the other surviving roommate, but things that she was saying wasn't making sense. So that's why at first the EMS thought they were just coming there for an unresponsive person, and that's why the call was put in for an unresponsive person. So then when the friends wanted to go in there and see what took place, because all they were getting from the one roommate that was talking was something that Ethan was hurt badly. So the friends went into the property, and that's when they started discovering what took place. And so that's where a lot of the crime scenes started to get contaminated. In that process, the EMS workers go in there as well, not knowing what took place, only thinking that they're coming there for an unconscious person. They also walk into the crime scene and then notice, oh, it's a crime scene. They're also contaminating because everybody's been walking around on the ground at this point. Other people's footprints, DNA everywhere on top of the crime scene. So who knows what took place, because you had a lot of people, friends in there talking. Who knows who discovered the third floor? But who knows what was going on with the EMS? Who knows what kind of chaos was going inside there? Kids talking, screaming, crying. Who knows? I can only imagine the chaos that would have been taking place in there, and the kind of crowd control that would have to try and exist. But basically, that's why, if you read the post, that's why somebody else called for an unconscious person. That's why different people were on the 911. That's why the scene can be as contaminated as it is, and that's why maybe LE doesn't have, even though they have a lot of evidence and it was sloppy, maybe that's why they don't have enough evidence to be able to put out a profile or to be able to narrow down a suspect. Let me go through chat. Sorry about that. Because I saw a pic that one of the roommates posted that had a timestamp of around 3-ish as well. What did that post say, Chemistry Queen? I'd be interested. Allison Faye, a lady, had that post, and hers said 12 midnight-ish. I think it's Pacific time. Idaho? I don't know. I think it would be, because it's pretty close to Washington State, I believe, and I know that's in Pacific time, so probably. You may be right. There is a lot of confusion at this point for sure. I know the timestamp had 3 a.m. and someone was arguing that it was actually 1 a.m. Idaho time. Huh. I wonder what that post was about. What did it say, Chemistry Queen? That's interesting. It was a pic of the two girls. So that was 1 a.m. They were at the food, so it was before they went to the food truck. Because I think they showed up at the food truck. It was like 140 or something, right? Somewhere around there. Allison Faye. Let me see here. I know you said you sent me a... Okay, I got an email, but there's nothing in it. I don't know if... Let me go to the one above that. Let's see here. Okay, thank you for the link, Allison. And I saw a couple other links. I'll get to those in a second, too. Very eerie photo I found on U of I Sigma Chi's Instagram. Oh, okay, so this is what you're... March, and I'm almost certain this is Ethan Chapin circled in the pic with the house. He would be at the background visible through the window. I could... Thank you, Songsi. I appreciate it. Thank you for the kind words. This has got me thinking about spaghetti, garlic bread, and salad. Thanks, Allison. Thank you for the link. All right. Let me see here. Let me go back, see if we got any new videos. Because we're all about that breaking video. And then we'll go back to the other ones that we have in the back. Mother speaks out. Let's see here. Alright, I'm really not seeing anything new again. Nope. Alright, so let me go to the folder again. It was a pic of either Kaylee or Madison and one surviving. Really? From the same night? It had to be before the food truck then. Was it at the club? Because I didn't know this until a couple nights ago that Ethan's brother and sister were at the Sigma Chi party that same night. And I didn't know that Ethan's brother lived just a short distance from them either. Yeah, we just found that out the other night. I didn't know about that. Let's see here. Okay. Expert weighs in on what authorities need. This was an hour ago, so we'll see what this says. I don't know. These are yay and nay, you know.
Investigators are looking for is forensic and clinical psychologist Dr. John Delatorre. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks, Natasha.
And I know you've been tracking this case, knowing what we know about the murder weapon, also some of the new details to come out this week. What kind of person are investigators likely dealing with here?
It hinges on this word target. You know, there's been a lot of conversation about this word and why the police used it. And it's really interesting because it seems as though at least the three women victims may have shared something in common. Something they probably didn't even know that they shared in common. Most likely, this individual never told anyone, the perpetrator of this crime, never told anyone the murderous intent. Usually, this is someone that at least was familiar to each of the four victims, right? There were two other victims inside the house that were left alone. Now, we don't know if the doors were locked or anything like that, but we have to assume that someone knew how to get into that house and knew where each of these four individuals were in the house in order to not disturb any.
Yeah, Songsi, that's what I heard being reported as well. I think it was News Nation, yeah. No, it was a pic of them at home. The issue was if the roommate posted it around 3, then the roommate was awake and could have heard something. Interesting. Huh. Yeah, his brother brought the sister as a +1. Yep. That's what's being reported. But I have plenty of other videos too to go into this evening.
Or not create a ruckus or a riot or anything like that.
If we get to
while
it.
committing the offense.
You know I never
Can you
do.
walk us through the resolve, the state of mind that the killer needed to have to carry out this crime?
It's not only the resolve, right? It's not only that, but it's also managing the adrenaline, right? Because you're going to be anxious and nervous when you're committing this crime. Because I'm not entirely convinced he's done this before. And I say he.
And chat, maybe that's what happened between 9 and 1:45 a.m. It's this brain stew. All good points, all good views. Mix them together. Doesn't it make sense? They went to one where the brother had a +1, and then maybe they went to where Jen K's talking about afterwards, and that's not being released. That's where the hey. Maybe. Exactly. This brain stew, I love it. Thank you guys.
Because more than likely it is a him, right? But it's not, it's unclear that he's done this before. So you got to manage your adrenaline. You got to manage, right, everything, right? The anxiety that's being provoked. Then you got to manage sort of the physical exertion, right? You're committed to doing this thing, but stabbing individuals with a knife takes a lot out of you, and then you have to move quietly to the next room. There's a lot of resolve. This person wanted to do this, and it probably has been wanting to do this for a very long time.
Well, and some believe the killer is likely an incel or part of that community. Can you explain what that means and what the chances are that that is true?
I've heard that before. I don't think so, right? Incels, they tend to believe that they have no access to women, or that women sort of push them to the side. I'm not really seeing that. It's unlikely that an incel becomes this radicalized. And usually when they become radicalized to engage in behavior like this, it's a performance crime. It's theatrical, right? Elliot Rogers, right? ER, the comebase incels use online when they're gonna do a crime where multiple people are going to die, pulling in ER. This doesn't ring of a performance. This rings of someone wanting to do this kind of crime, not because they believe that.
Yeah, it does me too, Chemistry Queen, and I don't know. I've heard it on the last couple nights, from different, people on these shows, and I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me. And I believe I believe it is 3 weeks tonight. I believe it is. Yes.
The entire women community has shut them out, but more that something else was going on, that a relationship had been spurned by the victims to this individual.
And we know forensic results are starting to come back. What could be the biggest clue in that? And certainly DNA evidence has to be what investigators are hoping to find.
Usually it's going to be the DNA evidence. And a lot of people say that, well, the perpetrator was using a knife, so more than likely he cut himself at some point. The problem is that if a knife was used, it's possible that the knife had a hilt, right? Where the person's hand might have
I don't know. You know what?
Gloves, it was freezing cold back.
Sorry, I don't know. I don't feel like watching this one. It's too much. It's too much. All right, let me go to another one here. Let's see. We'll get rid of that one. Whoa, hold on here. Jen K. Ethan's mom made it clear in the interview she gave that Ethan was his sister's date, and the other brother went with his sister's roommate. Yeah, we can check that one out. Let's see here. I did it already, but we can go over it just to make sure here, because I'm a little confused as well. But I don't know how much. Where's that interview? Right here.
Can I just ask you off the bat how you are getting by in this terrible.
Oh, wait a minute. I thought this was... I wanted to watch this one, though. Maybe I don't have it. Okay, so that's from yesterday. Well, let's watch this one because it's going to be a good watch. And the cops were back in there today. Yeah, yeah, they came back there, had 3 crime evidence markers, and had an evidence bag, and there was 3 people that went in there, and there was a video of them from Brian Netton on his Twitter of them walking in the property, and then there was a picture that he took of inside one of the windows. And he said the lights were on for about 5 to 10 minutes in one of the rooms. They were looking primarily at the bottom floor, and then they left. So he's going to get into that more in tomorrow night's special that he has at 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central. And we'll be having the show on, and we'll be going over that one too. It was a good watch earlier in the beginning. You have to go about 40 minutes, and then you'll be able to see or you can go to the Twitter link as well from the chat replay. It was a good listen.
Not very easily, not good. I mean, I don't know what to say to that.
I can't even imagine the pain that you and your family are going through. Have the police been helpful to you, Kara, to understand some of the things they can and can't say?
Honestly, no. Honestly, no. They haven't said anything. I learn more on the news and on TV than they have said to me.
Have you had a chance to talk with some of the other parents of the other 3 kids who were there that night and share information amongst yourselves?
Not really, honestly. I've just been dealing with my family, and we've just been absorbing this shock.
Can you tell me, Kara, what you do know about this terrible night?
Well, what I do know is not nearly enough. We need more answers. There is so much more that can be done that has not been done. And I just know that there's GPS, NASA to find out who went into that home that night. I know that. Why hasn't that been looked into? Why hasn't that been accessed?
Kara, can I ask you that there is a mysterious sort of 4-hour and 45-minute block of time that's unaccounted for by the police timeline. The police say that your daughter Xana and her boyfriend Ethan were at the Sigma Chi house from 8 until 9 p.m.
I'm going to go ahead and rewind that just a little bit to respect the creator. I don't know what to make of the 3rd floor song C. I don't think it's probably anything of importance. Maybe they just missed something or they noticed something. But really, when you go upstairs to the 2nd floor from the bottom floor and then you come back down and run out, maybe something was transferred from that 2nd floor to the bottom floor. They missed it. Maybe it could be possible DNA that was on their foot that splashed onto the wall. And since they can't find any conclusive DNA so far, if that's what it is, then maybe that's another possibility that they might have missed. And so they're going to try and see if they can get something off that. I don't know. Yeah, it's something of interest for sure, Song C, especially when you have 3 crime markers in an evidence bag. And it's 3 weeks later. during the time that you have just private security watching the residents at that point. It's very interesting. I just don't know what to make of it. And I have a feeling that Brian Netton's going to be sharing that with us tomorrow night, because he did say in his little Twitter show for like 20 some minutes earlier that he is going to get into that. Now, whether he can release information, who knows, but he's definitely going to talk about it. So I'm definitely interested to hear what he has to say. I'm definitely interested in this special, because I think it's going to really help everybody to be able to kind of have more of an idea. NASA? What? Chemistry Queen. The interview was sad because she didn't know what Zaina drove and had not actually been to the house. I didn't think she was included much. Yeah, I think the same too. That's why, it's got to be a good interview, but I really don't know how much she would really know. Is she suggesting that NASA has real time? I don't. There are a lot of satellites out there, but I mean, when you're talking about, let's be honest, when I do a Google search of the frickin' Street View, I can't even go down some of the streets with Google Guy. That means they didn't explore it that much. And if they didn't explore it that much, I don't think the satellites are exploring it that much either, Because I can't even take Google Guy. I can go down one street of the property, but then you go to turn right and go behind the trees, and you can't even take Google Guy there, because Google Guy, he don't exist. They never drove up that road. So I don't think this is a place that gets explored a lot by satellites and all that. So who knows, Songsi? I don't know.
I know that. Why hasn't that been looked into? Why hasn't that been accessed?
Can I, Kara, can I ask you that there is a mysterious sort of 4-hour and 45-minute block of time that's unaccounted for by the police timeline. The police say that your daughter Xana and her boyfriend Ethan were at the Sigma Chi house from 8 until 9 p.m., but then they don't have any information on where they were from 9 p.m. till 1:45 a.m. Do you know anything about that from either your information from the police or Ethan's family?
I may be candid in saying this, but I think that they were at a bar.
And where do you get that information from? Did someone tell you that they'd gone from the Sigma Chi house to a bar before they ended home?
That's what their father conveyed to me, that he thought that they were at the bar at that night. So, yeah, I mean, that's what college do.
But you know for sure that they left the Sigma Chi house, went to a bar. Okay.
I don't know for sure, absolutely not.
And have the police asked you any questions about where Xana might have been, or if she texted you, or if she had, if she'd communicated with any family members in that period of time?
No, no answers whatsoever. Whatsoever, really. I asked them.
Has anybody watched this interview? I mean, I feel like she might not really know that much, and it's a 20-minute interview, and I'm going to go to this link that Jen shared a little bit ago. If anybody's watched this before, let me know if there's any information to suggest anything, or if maybe something I'm missing, but I don't know. I feel like I'm going to switch. If you guys want me to keep watching it, let me know and I'll go back to it. But I'm going to go to this link here from Jen K, and this is former Idaho prosecutor who visited a house where students were murdered reveals killer's possible path. Thank you, Chemistry Queen. I appreciate that. I just didn't want to waste anybody's time. That's all. This is a former Idaho Attorney General and Lieutenant Governor who's been inside the house where 4 University of Idaho students were killed on November 13th, says the suspect likely entered through the house through the back door. So I'm going to go ahead and play this video. Thank you for the link. I appreciate it. Thank you, Kelt, and thank you, Chemistry Queen. As justice served daily. Oh my gosh. I always appreciate it when you hop in here. I have the panel open if you'd like to join. Let me put her link up in the chat if you're not following Justice Served Daily. That little investigative hat that's on the icon there, that shit's real. She does amazing work. Does amazing work. Sorry, I forgot the A on the also. But yes, amazing work. How you doing tonight? And it is tragic in every way, so let's see. And here's that, if anybody. It's been a few weeks now. I think we're all right. Let me go back to this. Thank you again, Jen. Okay, let's play this video. I know you have, Kelt, and I appreciate you so much.
Nationwide are switching to
and let me mute this and let it play through. And you know, you got me hooked on updates with Turtle Dove, Kelt, because it's like every 2 days. You know, it seems like there's an update from Turtle Dove. And it's 2 days. Stuck on strings. Oh my gosh. How are you doing? Thank you for hopping in. Holy crap. No, please don't be sorry. I'm excited to see you. Seriously. Thank you. Wow. And yeah, if you haven't followed Justice Served Daily, amazing. That investigative hat is real shit. In her icon picture, like you go to her videos and you feel like she's wearing the trench coat, has the magnifying glass, you know, like a cape. And speaking of her, here she is. And you feel like she's good evening, lady. Has the magnifying glass.
Hello.
You know, uh-oh. I'm hearing me. And speaking of her, yes. And you feel like she's good evening, lady. Oh, it's your birthday tomorrow. Well, happy birthday tomorrow. I'll be on tomorrow.
Can you hear me better?
Yeah, I can hear you good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I've been working on doing some research for a couple of shows, and I've been listening to you on the side, though. Kelt can attest to that. I had been listening.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Yeah, there's been some crazy shows this week, huh? Holy crap.
God. So much updated, and then, you know, the one you were talking about earlier with the little girl, the 7-year-old little girl, just breaks my heart.
Yeah.
That one just, I mean, they worked so quickly. I mean, you got some Texas Rangers, right? You're just like, oh shit, right? I mean, they're going to get you pretty quickly, and they seem to have got on that FedEx driver because he had just done a delivery, right? He was just there doing the delivery, and it's just like, you know, it's kind of like the wrong person at the wrong time. It kind of reminds you of Michael Vaughn. Lots of people saw Michael Vaughn walking down the street, but just the wrong person, right, suddenly sees you, and then, you know, they get the kid, and it just breaks your heart.
Well, it's crazy too, because last night when we were trying to figure it out, like, it never made sense. Like, the only thing it made, because the dogs, when they went there, only hit around the property, and that was it. So it was like, well, it had to have happened right in front. But then we thought, you know, maybe the person hit her or something. We never thought that the dude would have kidnapped her and did what he did and all that, you know. And So when we were watching it, in the end of the stream, it didn't look like any kind of updates. It seemed like they cleared it and that they didn't find anything. And then in the middle of the night, boom, dude confesses. Like, I'm so thankful that the Ellie was able to just snatch this guy so quick and just hop right on, and it doesn't become another one of these cases that we talk about every night. So thankful for that.
Oh, absolutely. Well, and I think that yeah, when it came up like in the wee hours of the morning, I was still up. I was working on the Baumeister show, right? So I was working on getting all that stuff together and then doing stuff for that. And then you know how you start looking into stuff and then you can't go to sleep because you're like finding more and more you want to put on and have to add. And then all of a sudden I saw it pop up and I thought, it's like, did I just read that correctly? Did it just say that they found her body? And I was just, oh no, it just broke my heart. So I can't imagine. I mean, at first, to be honest with you, I mean, when you first heard the info and the dad is out of town and she's with mom and the stepmom goes, oh, got an argument and she's in the room and I don't know where she is. Like, I mean,
she just walked out, Yeah, she seems sus as hell, like, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I am not gonna lie. Yeah, and then when the news broke, I was like, man, I just ended, and I'm like, I'm just so thankful that they caught him right away. He confessed. Justice will be served very quickly for that little girl. Such a cutie too.
I know.
So sad.
Just looking
shit
at
can
her
happen right in front of your house.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Breaks my heart.
Right in front of your house.
Yeah. And you know what? And it's like you want to lock your kids up in here, right? You're just like, good Lord.
Well, and they've already been so isolated already because of COVID and stuff, because they're not, having to do remote schooling. Then you feel like you have to isolate them at home too. So it's like a life full of isolation just to be protected. It's so sad. What do what can you do?
Well, I was just, we were talking in Discord earlier today and Kelt and Amy and I were just all talking about, I was saying it's interesting because, in the past, the percentages of kids who are, have something happen to them or are kidnapped, you always hear about the low percentage that it was always of not a stranger, right? The odds of it being a stranger were always very low. And between the social media stuff, and I would probably argue the fact that I would not be surprised if this guy was looking at some CSAM stuff, right, of underage.
Right. Yeah. Well, if you're not following Punksy Justice, I'm gonna throw her link up in the chat. We started off with a video that she posted on her channel tonight, and it has a lot of information when it comes to social media stuff from this guy from the past.
Yeah, I was
and
watching
current stuff.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah, I mean, he's got some messed up stuff, and it's mom's telling him to date older girls, but yet somebody's accusing him of raping her when he was 16, and he would have been 22.
What a sicko.
Yeah.
What a sicko.
But, then you look at CSAM stuff, and you look at social media stuff, and then people who are just acting on that they can no longer handle the urge of looking at the CSAM. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's because we follow it, but boy, there seems to be a major increase of children who are being lured and or taken by strangers, strangers.
It makes me think of like back in the 80s and the 90s when it really started, the milk carton stuff, when it all really started to be out in the open and stuff. And this shit is just because of social media and it's just being exposed more and more and more and more and more. I wouldn't doubt it if this has been the same. for years.
Oh yeah.
It,
I mean,
it's
if he
just
got in trouble at 22 and nobody brought this up, right? Nobody brought it up as he needs to get help, that he's, raping 16-year-olds. What the shit do you think he's doing at 31? He's probably still looking at
yeah.
that type of thing. He gets older, but his thoughts and girls does not mature
And
with him at all.
yeah, and you look at some of his photos and stuff, and there's like some pictures of him as he's older, and you can tell he just seems like he's not mentally mature enough or socially what's the word? Socially aware for that. Maybe like he's got a like maybe he doesn't think like a person that his age is. He's more kind of held back in a way for whatever reason.
Mentally and maturely, not socially.
Yeah.
Well, that's the
Just
same
some
thing
of his posts. It's just like, whoa.
That's the same thing for Keegan. You got to think Keegan Kline dropped out of school. He never graduated from high school.
Oh,
So,
I didn't know that.
yeah, he never graduated from high school. So he never sat here and, dated these teenage girls and did socially what he did. So what development did he stop at? Which doesn't give him an excuse, right? It doesn't make it okay.
Right.
But you kind of wonder what his maturity level and not knowing how to socialize with people at that age, which you do a lot in high school, good or bad, right? And learning how to date and deal with girls, then he never did that. So, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of those the posts that were made were just like you kind of get an idea of what the dude was possibly into and stuff just from a lot of the words that he was saying. You already knew with the talks about self-harm and stuff that he needed help for a lot of those thoughts and things, and I'm sure that stuff contributed to other things, and who knows. It's like Richard Allen, he never got in trouble, legally, never got into trouble that it was pretty much nothing happened. And it's the same with this guy, right? This driver, there is no, other than the allegations from this Shay female, there's nothing in his background that shows any kind of reports or anything, right? I haven't even been into his background. Do you know anything about it?
I haven't looked. I'm trying to think if I looked when I first got his name in there, but I don't know if I saw any legal charges against him, right? Nothing on his record. I mean, obviously, too, the other thing you have, if they've done anything as a juvenile, we're not going to see anything either.
Right.
But yeah, I haven't dived deep into all of his stuff, but it makes it interesting though, like lots of times the self-harm and all this stuff and self-hatred is also because of the guilt that they feel, that they know there's almost acknowledgement that they know that they're doing something wrong, right? They're looking at these images, maybe they're already acting on them, maybe they've done something. And so you have that kind of stuff. And it's interesting because Richard Allen, you can't really tell because he wasn't keeping social media. And I would argue on purpose. He doesn't want to have his stuff out there if that's what he's doing.
Yeah. He just wants to seem like that regular neighbor guy that goes to work and then goes to the bar with his wife and they hang out and have a good time and,
Yeah.
And then talking to the bartender, hey, what's been going on with the case?
Yeah. I mean, and just such a facade. You know what I mean? Just this look of, everything's normal, everything's fine. And it'll be interesting because I'm hoping that a little bit of discussions happen before the 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 February date of asking whether he'll get bond or not, because I feel like there will not be any plea deal discussion before then, maybe.
You don't think he's going to talk about anything?
You know what? I think I don't think his attorneys will let him talk about anything until they realize that they let him see that he is or he is not going to have bond, right? They're not going to give up to try to let him believe that there's a chance that maybe he could get bond, because they're going to argue there's not enough evidence, again, because in Indiana, we don't allow bond for murder charges based on if you have good, solid evidence that the person commit the murder. But if his people, which of course they're going to, argue that they don't think that information is solid, then that's why they're going to argue the fact about giving him some type of bond. And I think when the bond is thrown out, then that's when they're going to go, okay, hey, buddy, we won't give you the death penalty if you give up the full story and everybody.
Yeah. What do you think? I'm glad you joined the panel, because I want you to tell me what you think about the evidence that's been released, and what you also think about the defense attorneys. And I'm sure you also know about he's the co-counsel for the other case. You know about that, I'm sure, already, and how they got the
triple murder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what he was able to do in that?
Yes.
I'm interested to hear your thoughts.
He was able to argue the fact that the evidence was not, the search warrant was not valid in order for them to keep the gun in during a case of a triple homicide, and he got that thrown out. And he is a normal defense attorney who goes out there, and he also wants to get it in the media, right? He wants to be talking and stuff like that. And I guarantee you, because of the comments that he said recently, was why the judge came out quickly and said, okay, we're going to put this gag order in effect before I consider if the gag order will be in effect. Right? So that's funny. I think the judge was already pissed that he.
Well, I have a little question in between here, real quick.
Okay.
Do you when the defense, the older gentleman, okay, after the press conference, or when they went to, how he came out and he was talking to the reporters, the older gentleman.
Yeah.
Do you think that he believes what he was saying, or do you think that he was doing it for show? Because he came out saying it was flimsy, like.
Well, I'm sure. Okay, to be honest, I would think any of us who saw that was like, is that it? Right? Because I was hoping for a little bit more. I mean, here's my two concerns. My concern is if the warrant gets thrown out, the search warrant gets thrown out, it's not going to just throw the bullet out. It's going to throw the car out. Because
the car quote don't match either. Yeah.
Well, also just not even just that, but that the car was picked up during that same search warrant. Right? During the same search warrant, they took away the car.
Right.
So if the search warrant,
because the lawyer said he didn't change nothing, he didn't sell a car, he didn't get rid of the gun, he didn't move, which is a good argument on the defense as well.
Yeah, but I don't think. I mean, yeah, the attorney Baldwin is the guy.
Yeah, Baldwin,
and I think the full thing is going to be why. What was the reason? Because this is what we don't have. Nobody has been able to obtain, and it has not been released, of the probable cause for the search warrant. What did they write in the probable cause for the search warrant that changed, right, from 2022 to all the way back in 2017 when the guy met somebody in a freaking grocery store, which don't get me started on that. I'm so pissed. I'm so pissed. We could do a whole nother show of just me to rant about that one. But
we can do it. Let me know. I love it.
we'll just call it the JSD rant. That's what we'll call it.
Hey, let me know. We'll do it.
Yeah.
You just let me know. You email me.
Yes, I'll
Floor
hit the
is yours that night.
before that one starts.
The floor is yours.
But so, they're going to ask, what was the sudden urgency? What made the urgency in there? So what do we learn? We learned that the FBI comes forward after the murder sheet, which, by the way, I know the murder sheet crew very well. And if you don't follow the Murder Sheet podcast, you should. And the reason is because there is the couple that's there that is a married couple. One is a journalist. She's been an investigative reporter for a long time, Anya, and then Kevin is an actual attorney. So
if you have the link, go ahead and post it. I apologize. I don't have it.
Oh, you know what? I don't have that in here.
Or if somebody could send it to me, or
yeah, Kel, can you pop their podcast link in here? They're great and they're very reliable, and they don't come forward unless they have a lot of stuff. But so after they released info and it's shared with them that it was the FBI's mistake, clerical mistake, that by a civilian employee that something got filed, and that's how it missed. Well, no. Right after that happens, the FBI contacts them, the murder sheet, and clarifies with them that this was not an error by the FBI. They don't say who, but it was not an FBI error. Okay. So who goes out there and who rushes to see that? And I'm sure you've heard some, and I don't know any about this part being true. I'm just sharing the scuttlebutt that's out there. Was that one of the reasons that this could have happened was, did Carroll County rush to serve this search warrant prior to the election of the sheriff?
Yes, because the elections took place right after.
Correct. And so wondering if then it's all puffy of, hey, look, we accomplished something about this case right before the election. So, did they sit here? Did Carroll County serve this warrant without the Indiana State Police and the FBI knowing that? Did they find this piece of paper in the drawer of that a person interviewed Richard Allen back then and go, wow, look at what we just found, and then turn around and go serve a warrant to go search his house? I mean, let
me ask you this.
Yeah,
I want to ask you if you noticed this after Richard Allen was arrested, when it came to the elections, because you bring up a good question. I want to ask you. Now, when it came to these elections, and you're seeing the elections that went on through the whole state, right?
Yeah.
Did this stick out to you or not? Because it stuck out to me about how many officials were not running for re-election. Did you notice anything like that when they were going over the election results for the whole state? There was like 5 that were not running for re-election. Isn't that weird?
Well, heck, just between that, you've got a lot of government officials abroad who weren't even rerunning. I mean, I would argue that fact could be that the shit is so tied up and not functional anymore. They just want to get the hell out of it. But
it just seems odd because I'm not really into politics that much, but I do watch the news in the morning, and out of all these years, I'm just getting ready for work, and I'm like, holy crap, they just named off how many people that are not running for re-election. What the hell?
Yeah.
I wonder if maybe they were digging into an old file that had somebody else's name into it, and they came across this one, and that's how they found that information that kind of led them to where they were going for the RA stuff. Do you think that the neighbor call that said that RA stole something from him and dug it in the backyard. Do you think that was a way for the LE to get there because they didn't have much?
You know, I'm a little suspect on the whole thing of why they digged in the backyard. I've heard that the holes and stuff were very small that they dug in the backyard, which makes me believe maybe there was some practice shooting going in the backyard, maybe towards that shed, which a lot of people do that, you know, in Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
Go shoot shit in their backyard. Trees and all kinds of crap, right? And that, you know, that could have also been spent bullets.
Right.
And they could have picked out spent bullets to try to see, you know, what it was or what it not. I mean, I was hoping there'd be a damn USB drive in the damn backyard, but
right.
That would be easy, right? That would be an easy one if they found it.
Well, the flash photography was interesting, though.
Yeah, I feel like here's my thing. I feel like that I don't know if it shows innocent of Richard Allen to not get rid of the shit, as also it could show why he wouldn't get rid of the shit. They were telling it all over the place of watch somebody who cuts his hair, watch somebody who looks different, watch somebody who gets rid of his car, watch somebody who does blah, blah, blah. So he's hearing all the shit he should not probably do, or he's going to cause attention to himself. And so if he doesn't, you know, everybody, he's sitting there walking around thinking, wow, I can't believe nobody's identifying me, right? On this damn
right. Especially not being reached out again after he told them what he told them, you know, how his clerical error took place. Like, yeah, he's probably confident as hell thinking,
well, I mean,
I did the perfect.
Okay, this will be my, here's a rant part, so excuse my French.
Do it. No,
But
go ahead, please.
I mean, he could have worn a fucking name tag and we still would have noticed. He wore regular stuff he had, regular boots he had, and a fucking jacket. He's had many pictures taken around in and walking around in. And oh my God, right? I'm just saying that. And I'm going to say, even if your head is looking down, everybody, you have a significant other. If you're walking down the street, but you can't see your head very well and it's smudgy, but they can
you have
see
a scarf.
You're wearing jeans, boots, and all this kind of stuff. Don't you think you would still kind of say, well, that kind of looks like my spouse, right? That kind of looks like my spouse. But, you know, I think that him having the jacket and the boots and stuff, I would think, first of all, it would be stupid as shit if he kept it. I think he could have bought stuff and replaced it so it didn't look suspect, right?
Right, exactly.
There's no blood in it. He would buy new boots. So over there, and he just puts them right back in, and, you know, his wife isn't paying attention to shit.
Nobody notices. Yeah.
But the car, let me tell you, as long as that car can stay safe, in meaning that we don't lose it in the probable cause for the search warrant, you know, one of our favorite scenes of true crime is when they put the illuminating spray inside the vehicle. I don't care how well he cleaned that car, it would be in there. And when the witness who says she sees him, by the way, much later than I would have figured of him walking down the street at 3:57 p.m., walking down County Road 300 North, and he sees the guy muddy and bloody. Well, maybe he did get a hit and a licking and stuff from the girls, which I hope they did. I bet you they would. But
they have to.
Sure, blood on him, just like it described by these search warrants, that he would have been covered in blood. And so if they find blood and then they find its DNA, there's no explanation for their DNA in your car. You can't erase that. Not at all.
I used to detail expensive ass vehicles professionally for a living for a long time, and I'm telling you, there's no way. I mean, unless you totally put new stuff in, you're not getting rid of it. There's just no way. And it is going to be interesting what they find or potentially find in that vehicle, if anything. What do you think about the bullet that they found, though, with the markings? What do you think? I don't know guns that much when it comes to the markings that it leaves if it's not spent.
Yeah. Well,
Is that even like, is that a
I
thing?
can't, I can't speak to the science on behalf of it, but I can tell you, you can grab any scientist on that's going to be paid on the defense side who will say that it's bullshit, right? No matter
Right.
what, they can figure anybody. The only thing that that I get from it was that it depends on how it's in the gun. So very early on, I had already heard and had knowledge that there was a gun involved in the case, and that there was a gun on the video, and a click.
Really?
I heard. So when obviously I was not aware about a bullet or anything like that, but so if that's the case, and you're getting them to go down the hill, go and cooperate with you, if at this point the girls maybe started fighting or not cooperating or not doing something, and let's say he tried to cock the gun back again. If the gun is already cocked and you cock the gun back again, it will pop out the bullet that's in there.
Okay.
So that could be a reason. Now, when you are sliding it in, it can make, even though it's not shot, it still will make marks on the bullet, because now you're rubbing, the bullet's a softer metal than what the gun is, right? And so when you pull it back, if there's any type of anything in the gun, especially if you don't clean it, it can leave marks and stuff from that.
So it's almost like a pre-tip kind of marking, like it's just starting the grooves of what it would leave when it's shot, but it doesn't complete the whole process because it doesn't go through the whole barrel. It just kind of starts to go through it and then gets ejected out if you cock it twice.
Yeah, it would, because you've already had it. There was an unspent bullet in the gun. So,
Okay.
I mean,
Interesting.
What they can argue with the science and stuff like that, and actual scientists who know all of that stuff way better than I am. But I mean, that's the only thing I can think of. I can't think of the gun as, being in there. I mean, there could be several reasons why a bullet falls out. Maybe it's when the bodies are being moved, right? Maybe he's bending down and the bullet gets moved out of there, but then it didn't. How would the cocked bullet already fall out of the gun at that point? Maybe he used the gun to hit them, and a bullet could have fallen out and stuff from that. So, there's all kinds of reasons and stuff, but learning that bit of information, and that it is actually in between the bodies. I think if he would have lost that bullet like farther out or farther away or something like that, it would be easier for them to argue that, oh, he could have forgotten, he dropped it out there. But that it's dropped between the two girls, yeah. And hopefully there's a fingerprint or something on it, I would imagine.
You would think, there would have to be, but I don't know. I mean, like they said, who knows what's on there, but also it makes sense about cocking it twice and not, because it went chaotic.
Yeah.
So he easily could have, just with everything going on and the shit he had to process quickly, not even thinking. Do you think he knew, like, when he went back home, oh shit, there's a bullet somewhere, I'm just going to roll the dice? I mean, he had to feel so confident when they didn't reach out to again. It's surprising that this clerical error it's just, how did they find it? How did they find this paperwork that brought his name back up?
Well, I mean, how am I going to word this? Okay, I have no direct knowledge myself. This is in my opinion, assumption. or we'll call it speculation, right? Here we go, speculation.
It's my concept show. It's concepts.
Right.
Right?
Start flashing that screen, man. Start flashing that.
Oh, you want me? Okay, hold on one second. You want me to flash this up real quick? Kaboom. Kaboom. You're good. You're a sweetheart and you're respectful. No issues there.
So here's my thing, because I don't have any proof to share, that I really believe that it would be on the Carroll County Police, because it is a local I can't think of the name of the officer, the one for the parks. Why can't I think of it? Who discussed this with them. I am curious if you notice in the probable cause that talks about that, it does not name the officer. Do you see that? It doesn't even name the officer and then redact it. It just has this little cut and paste insert, right, of the officer's discussion, right? So who would have that local parks department interview that this guy just did outside of a grocery store, right? And who would they give that to? So you would think that more than likely who that person's going to hand it to, the conservation officer, who is that person going to hand it to? They're going to handle it to, in my opinion, they're going to handle it to their local police department who's working on the case.
Right.
And so they give that to them in the feeling that this will be looked at and this is going on. So if we do know that the FBI is saying this ain't our mistake, this wasn't our mistake, it wasn't our clerical person mistake, then it makes you go, okay, then who are they saying that is? Who did not look at this stuff? And I hope they didn't.
So you think they just got it?
Go back and go, whoa, shit, look at this. Put over here.
The person that was responsible for not looking at it first, thinking, oh, it's just from a conservation officer. This can't be too credible.
Or here's my other thing, because we don't know the officer who did this. I'm curious if that conservation officer could be knowledgeable, friends, whatever, with Richard Allen. Why would they just go to a grocery store? That doesn't make sense to me.
No.
So we know that had to be within 2 weeks. Yet we sit here and that's one thing I'm working on for my show right now.
When is it coming out?
That's a good question.
Okay.
Because I've been working on 2 shows at the same time, and I'm getting closer to the Delphi update. But I'm going through all of the documents, and I'm inserting all of the times and dates from everything. The probable cause info that we found out from Keegan, the info that we find out. So I'm merging all of this to know, on top of when the state police were releasing this, or when a video was released for that. And right when Logan's house was searched the 3 different times, like all of that is all going in here.
Nice. I can't wait.
It is in depth of that kind of thing, but that's where you're like, you have to assume that this interview had to have happened within the first 2 weeks, right, of the case, of when he said, hey, by the way, man, that it was me. Because here's the big thing. They kept saying, well, we never had anybody who stepped forward to say they were the guy on the bridge. And yet here's a guy who says, hey, between 1:30 and 3:30, the actual times of the murder, park, I'm looking at fish 80 fucking feet up on the top of a bridge. Sorry about my French.
The first platform.
Right. This is my frustration. This is my frustration.
I feel you. Trust me, 100.
And they're saying all this stuff. He's saying all this stuff.
Puts himself there.
I'm there. I didn't see anybody. Oh yes, I literally walked on it. I was on the platform. I mean, come on.
He said he saw the 3 girls, but that he didn't report of anything that he could recall other than seeing the 3 girls or something like that. He totally put himself there.
Oh,
and it's, and it's like,
that should have been exactly what the officer should have went to them and said, hey, here's
it
an
could have been
interview.
over.
Here's an interview.
Boom.
But by the way, he says he saw nothing or whatever, but he was there during the time of the murders.
Even stated he wore the same clothing that witnesses said they saw of the person and the person on the video. Even stated the same clothing as what's on the video. I mean, it's totally crazy how this clerical error happened. What do you think about this other witness statement, though, Justice, about somebody that was wearing all black? Do you think that could be somebody else?
I think it is somebody else.
I think so, too. When I saw that, I was like, huh.
There are other witnesses that I know of.
Chemistry Queen.
There are other witnesses that I know of that are not listed in that probable cause affidavit. And my curiosity is, they're not listed because that has nothing to do with Richard Allen. It has to do with a potential subject number 2.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's the other person in the sketch.
Yeah,
and
I think that the guy in black, come on, you can obviously tell between blue jeans and, maybe not the coat. Maybe you can't tell between the dark blue and black. But somebody wearing blue jeans, and this person's saying that they're all covered in black wearing a hoodie.
Uh-huh. And you'd really be able to blend in at the bottom of the hill, too, wearing that shit.
That shows how stupid that person is. They're in the middle of the day, in the afternoon, and they're going out wearing completely black, like that's going to put them in camouflage. Right?
Right.
Who the hell this person is. So obviously we should add to the description moron, right? Moron should be the first one.
These guys probably thought they were geniuses, Yeah. I mean, come on. They allowed them to, when you put yourself at the scene, you have the same clothing as the person on the video. The video's released, and then you don't get followed up on for 5 freaking years. I mean, you had to feel like you just got away with the crime of the century, and you just did an amazing job at it, Being able to sit there and kick it with the bartender every night, and, hey, what's going on? You get all the information up to date, real time. So he was probably like, shit, nothing to worry about.
Well, and remember, if he did have any injuries and stuff on himself, he went and checked himself into a rehab, remember?
Mm-hmm. After it.
He went into a rehab right afterwards. So if he had any type of injury or something like that, he could have been stating, hey, you know what? I had a drunken bender and I got drunk and I fell, right? I landed on my face, whatever the case could be. And that's his excuse and stuff for injuries as well. And he would stay out of view for at least 30 days.
Yeah, perfect. But you would have to think, like, if you put his statement together, if they were doing their job and you put his statement together, and then the fact that he went into a mental hospital, like, that would make that person stick out to me anymore if I was investigating the case.
Yeah, but they didn't put competent people. It just did not get in front of the eyes of people. I mean, if you think about that, this is what's heartbreaking. These 2 people who are now finally in jail, one who didn't get arrested until 2020, although he had CSAM that they knew about in 2017, and now Richard Allen, were talked to within less than 14 days after the murder. Both of them.
And Keegan does wear a lot of black, too. Not that he's the person at the bottom, but
it's a fitting color, Evil.
There's a lot of pictures of him wearing black hats, black shirts, black jerseys. Hell, look at his photo that they always show on the videos when he was getting booked. Black T-shirt. I mean, I'm not saying he was the one down there. I still I don't know. The picture to me looks like Keegan or Tony. But maybe I don't know. Maybe he, even though he was reported as waiting in a vehicle at the gas station by himself, maybe shit did get crazy and his dad called him and said, yo, we need you to come out here for a minute. And maybe that's where the person with the black clothing came from, the witness, and maybe all three of them were there. I don't know.
Well,
But
I mean, the other thing is that we have another vehicle that was spotted by a witness that worked across from the CPS building, right?
I did see something pop up, but I didn't get to get into that at all.
So a long
Do you have
time
knowledge?
ago, we you know, the guy from the CPS building, we knew, or we thought we knew, that the vehicle that he was saying that he saw was only the one parked backwards in the CPS building. And we
Right.
also heard about witnesses talking about there being technically two vehicles there, because there was a vehicle parked along the west side of County Road 300 North, just a little between where the park itself is and where the CPS building is. What's parked on the side like a broken down vehicle. And there were other people who said that they approached somebody because they thought the car was broken down. And when they talked to this person said he was waiting for his dad.
Mhm.
Right?
Yep.
So go back to that and now learn that that vehicle was there and seen early in the morning, starting at 9 a.m., right? Was seen till about 9 to 2-ish. And then all of a sudden, there was another witness who this same guy knows, who saw this same vehicle parked on the other side of the Freedom Bridge between 3 and 4 o'clock. We don't know what they're saying that vehicle is. The guy took a photo of that vehicle.
Really?
So if there's
there's a
somebody, there was somebody waiting
Oh.
on the other side of Freedom Bridge between 3 and 4. I mean, I would just argue the fact the witness, one of the witnesses who I believe is left out, at least the witness that I know of, not personally, who said that they saw somebody, met up with that person after they saw the dad. The dad gets there. He asks him if he sees the two girls. You guys probably all remember about that. They call him Flannel Shirt Guy, right? And he sits there and he asks them, hey, have you seen two girls? And the guy tells him, oh, or two little girls, right? He's like, no, I only saw a couple of girls over here. So Derek goes and he watches the other path, the other farther path, because he doesn't go towards the bridge, the Monon Bridge, because he's like, oh, well, the guy just said they're not there. Which, oh my God, if he would have, because he got there about 3:15-ish, that means they were still there with the girls' bodies, right? Because or I'll put it this way, we know at least Richard Allen would have still been there, allegedly, with those bodies, because you don't see him walking down the street with a witness till 3:57 p.m. Well, after the flannel shirt guy runs into somebody there, then while he's continuing down the path, heading west on the trail, flannel shirt guy, and he's heading towards the Freedom Bridge, he ends up running into someone else. He gives a description of the guy, but let me say this, you do not see that description in the Richard Allen. Flannel shirt guy's name is not in there. So, here's the thing. Who was it he saw on the trail heading back towards the Freedom Bridge? If there's a witness who saw Richard Allen muddy and bloody walking along County Road 300 North heading west. And that guy came out from the woods, came out to the trail, and started walking towards the Freedom Bridge.
Yeah, I heard a lot of stuff about a second car being talked about the last day or so. And I didn't really know too much about it, and I didn't realize that that statement was separate. That's interesting. Who do you think? Somebody who was also there as well.
Yeah, I just have a hard time believing that by the timing that he got down there, by the timing that everything happened,
It just makes sense.
yeah, I just feel like you can't ignore the comments from Doug Carter that says how complicated the case is, how many tentacles there are of the case, how strategic this arrest is. Well, there's nothing strategic or whatever that I've read so far in the Richard Allen thing. There's nothing complicated that I've seen in the Richard Allen thing. I think the complications of that could have been a CSAM ring. I think the complications are that the Anthony Shots profile was used to meet up with the girls, to meet up with the girls. Whether Keegan did it himself or allowed Richard Allen to do it himself, or whether, in my opinion, in my speculation, even maybe Tony Klein could have done it and told Richard, hey, come along, I've got this going on. And if that vehicle was there parked on the side of the road earlier, that vehicle, would have been somebody is checking out the area early in the morning before this happens. So all of these other witnesses wouldn't have been there at 9 o'clock in the morning when somebody's there parked on the side of the road, just,
Right.
A closer walking distance than the CPS building even, maybe checking out the location.
That's
So-
interesting. And Kelt's asking if you've heard the guy who contacted GH about the second car.
No, I haven't heard about him contacting him. I did hear the original recording of the conversation that he said about the car itself.
And the other McCain brother was out that way riding his bike.
Yeah.
Is that the guy who you
McCain
think was checking out the area?
No, McCain is the flannel shirt guy and his brother. McCain is the name of the guy.
And they're the ones that are trying to buy the property at RL right now, right?
Yeah, the other guy, the McCain who was walking at the known as flannel shirt guy, is supposedly is well-to-do, and he gives money and stuff to help try to take care of the parks and stuff like that. Is always what I've heard.
Huh. And there's another fella who was last person to speak with Libby, and he's linked to the biggest scam CSAM bust in Indiana. Who's the other fella?
I'm not sure which one she's talking about.
I thought Anthony Shots was the last one to.
Yeah, the Anthony Shots profile is
Was
the last
last
to communicate with her. I mean, and you got to think what odds they want us to believe. You can't ignore Keegan Klein's somewhat level of involvement. You can't tell me that the Anthony Shots profile was communicating, was setting up a catfish, said meet me that day, and then at the same time, randomly, all of a sudden, you've got an actual person who comes in to kill the girls, coincidental, on the same day.
Right. And how do you feel about the guy seeing another car? Is he a good witness? Kelt's asking. Good question.
I don't know why. I'm confused why in the probable cause that they would list some confusion from the witnesses about vehicles, unless maybe there's something to do with other vehicles or something. I'm not sure. It is said that people would park at the CPS building and walk. It's obviously a much farther walk. There's not a lot of parking, but obviously people parking that far when there's plenty of parking at the actual park, I think was on purpose to not have their vehicle seen or identified by anybody. But I did think it was weird they included a statement from somebody saying it's a, at first he says it's a, which are totally different, a purple PT Cruiser. Okay. First of all, purple is a very noticeable car, right? I know that. I had a purple Camaro. Just saying. You can't hide, you can't hide and say you weren't somewhere when you have a purple car. I'm just going to tell you that right now. But then he says he saw, or it could have been an SUV, or it could have been a smart car. What freaking range is that shit? Right?
Yeah.
That's
right.
ridiculous. I mean, at first I thought it was the teenage girls who were saying it and thinking, okay, 13, 14, 15-year-old girls, they're not sure what brand of cars there are. So there you go.
Right.
But come on, man. I mean,
Yeah.
PT Cruiser and a smart car are two totally different things.
Yeah.
But then they have later in that he says another sentence where he does remember a dark vehicle backed up against there. So why keep the other three statements in there? Why keep that other three vehicles listed? I don't get it. What was the purpose of that?
It's confusing. Yeah, it's confusing. Like, I don't.
Now they don't
I
have
don't
to
know.
use all the information they have in the probable cause. But
Right.
they do have to make sure that they tell the courts enough information that would make them believe that they need to have that search warrant and go see what's in that guy's house. So that's what I'm curious about. Nobody's been able to get access to that yet. It has not been made public, and neither has the defense attorney been able to get a hold of that, because that's what they're going to check. They're going to check if that there was enough probable cause that was legit for them to even search his client's house.
And it makes you wonder if there was, and then you mix in what he did as co-counsel on that other case, and you're almost going to expect that the same thing could possibly happen in this case too.
Yeah. Well, and you know what? Maybe I was like, when we saw the arrest warrant, when we saw that, it doesn't really say anything that tells you about another person, right? They kept saying, well, it'll give up our investigative techniques. If I was like, well, where is it? Because I don't see it. But maybe.
Did you see anything about the bullet in that either?
Yeah, it did.
Because I don't recall. It did?
It did talk about the bullet, yeah. And then it talked about the dates that the bullet, because the bullet was checked between, I think it was October 14th through the 19th, or maybe the 15th through the 19th.
Right, that's right.
But they, maybe the original search warrant, maybe
that's what I'm saying.
Maybe that would tell the techniques, or the other person, maybe they were looking for info. Like maybe that would give up something, and that's why it hasn't been released.
It was the list of items that they got from the search, when it had like the dark clothing, flash photography, accessories and items, the books, the dark, but it did have something about the bullet in that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, because I didn't know that for sure. I thought when I seen it, it didn't, and we were discussing that the other night, and so I appreciate you letting me know that it did, because I was thinking that it might not have, so I appreciate you.
Yeah, it talks about the gun and stuff like that. When you go farther down, it just shows why they were able to arrest him. And,
right.
and obviously they said they took the jacket, and then they only took one car of theirs, which was the Ford Focus.
Mm-hmm.
So, and like I said,
you think they're going to find something?
If that is this, it looks like the same Ford Focus. I would argue the fact that he also could have not gotten rid of it to be obvious. I think he could have replaced the coat. I think he could have replaced the boots. For his wife's not going to notice those things are missing, and nobody's asking where those are, and he's still wearing them like no big whoop. But he had the car. I think he kept the car because he didn't want people to notice he got rid of the car, because that's what heads up they were given, right?
Right.
Get rid of the car, even though we never knew what the car was, right? They mentioned the CPS building once, and we never heard another damn thing about it, from the police. But I think that vehicle will be will be checked with our illuminating spray, and we'll definitely they'll be able to then find where that is to get enough DNA. Just like
What
you said,
if?
even you said you've detailed cars before. You can't get in there. I mean, honestly, if you could detail cars that there's no DNA, you could make a lot of money from criminals. EvilleCJ, you could go into that
Yeah,
business of
and
remove DNA.
the two worst things I had to deal with was blood and sparkles, glitter. Oh my gosh, it was the same. Like either one was just a nightmare to try and clean. What if they don't find anything in the vehicle? Then do you think the bullet's enough? Like say they don't find, which there has to be something in there, right? But what if after they search the car, there's nothing that they can find?
I mean, the only thing is we have not heard directly, although we did hear directly when there would be potential suspects that, later on we hear that, oh, they thought it was this and it wasn't this person or whatever. And the only thing you can think of is that the eyewitnesses, right? Like that if they came back and they thought, here's the guy, did they go to these eyewitnesses? Which God bless them. Some of these are little teenage girls at the time. I can't imagine how scared that they have been, which is horrible because some people have been trying to go harass and find the witnesses, which is just crazy. I don't know what's wrong with people, but so I'm sure that they went back to these eyewitnesses and had to say, do you recognize this person, and maybe show a lineup again and have his photo and stuff in there to see if they found him. So I would hope eyewitnesses would help him if the bullet gets thrown out, and then maybe there's no DNA or that in the car, or even if the car gets thrown out, I don't know how else to get him.
I know.
And with him, how do you get the other person you want him to give up on?
Right, because he's the first domino when it comes to that. And with this lawyer, what he's already been able to accomplish with the other case that he's involved in, it's I don't think I don't know. I'm not that much of a gun person when it comes to like the bullet markings and such. I've shot them, but I don't know anything about the markings, and so I don't know if that would be enough if they don't find anything in the vehicle. And then it just makes you wonder with what the lawyer's able to do in the other case and could possibly do in this one, considering it's almost similar in some ways when it comes to the legality of items and searches and stuff. It just man, like it's been so long already. This clerical error could have finished this stuff 5 years ago. Yeah. And then now you're mixing it with you just really basically created more of an alibi for this guy to not be guilty, even if he did do it.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of ways that the defense attorney can create, reasonable doubt. I mean, I guarantee you that if there's no, if, for example, if there is no, because there's nothing against Tony Klein for the murders and stuff now, I mean, you can talk about how much they do it. Here's the other one that they can do, honestly. What about Ron Logan? They could read and show the right affidavit of why they went to Ron Logan's house. I mean, that's the other bad thing is how much were they focused on Ron Logan that they weren't looking anywhere at the beginning.
Were totally.
Because
and I heard I'm sorry.
March. That was in March when they were doing that. I mean, and again, yes, it is on his property. Yes, he did lie because he's an alcoholic and, and was trying to cover up, because of DUIs. But, I mean, how many cases do you learn about not narrowing down that focus so early?
Well, and I've heard reports that the defense lawyer is going to bring up a book or something to that fact of how Ron Logan was such a person of interest for so long, and he's going to also use that to create doubt about why his client should be guilty. It's some book or some video or something about that that he's going to use. And they were totally like, I mean, hell, if anybody's been following this as long as like you and even me, you know that Ron Logan was a huge suspect for so long, and all of the content that was being created, a lot of it was just focused on him. You know, interviews with ex-girlfriends and ex-partners and friends and all these different things about how he was the person that committed these crimes. These are the reasons why. This is,
I guess I mean, Ron Logan, I never really
I didn't.
on that bandwagon of him being a suspect. I mean,
He was too old.
It was interesting of reading. I mean, and when I did a show on this,
Right, Co?
Doing on just the Ron Logan stuff, I was just like, it was interesting to use that probable cause affidavit to see at the time what they were looking for, right? What way back then that they were looking for out of his house. So you learned a lot. You learned a lot about a knife, right? You learned a lot about all kinds of other things that they were searching and stuff for it. But I mean, you had, you know, Garrett, the Garrett guy who was the murderer of 2 people. And then they were thinking that he was a suspect because he did know Ron Logan, and, you know, talking about, you know, how long he took care of horses and stuff there, and whether the girls had been there riding horses ever before, and could have they met this guy. I mean, there's such a list of so many people, you know, Nations, the guy in Colorado who killed the people and stuff out in the woods in Colorado, and they brought him back here, and then they said that they were looking into him, and Chadwell, you know, I mean, there were so many people that they were just looking into because of what, you know, they had murder cases, and some of them CSAM with all that kind of stuff too. But yeah, I mean, this guy could be like a Baez, right? When you think of Casey Anthony, and say whatever he thinks is going to stick to the wall that creates some type of doubt. And for me, that's, you know, when they create bullshit, unproved bullshit, I mean, that's just not right.
It isn't. No, it isn't. You know, there should be ethics when it comes to a defense and what they, you know, regardless of who you represent, there should always be ethics involved, not just, you know, but there are some people out there like that. And Kelt brings up a good question. What if RL was part of it in some small way? I always thought that it could be, not that he was bridge guy, not that he was necessarily the guy down the hill, but I always thought that it could be a possibility that he had some sort of small involvement in it, not much, but some sort of small one. What do you think? Do you think he might have been part of it in some small way?
I wish he would. I honestly, after they arrested Richard Allen, I kind of wish he was still alive to ask the question to him. Is Richard Allen a normal walker along these paths? You know, have you seen him as he is here? Are you aware of him? Because remember, they did ask Richard Allen if he knew Ron Logan. Not that he has to necessarily told the truth, but hell, he told the truth about everything else. I was there at the time.
Yeah.
I mean, for God's sakes. But I would think that would be pretty easy to maybe clear up with other people, like maybe, you know, our flannel shirt guy. Have you seen Richard Allen and stuff walking here? Because that would be interesting if he is aware, was aware of Richard Allen, did know him, you know. I mean, you got to think the one common denomination between, I would argue this fact, between Tony Klein and Richard Allen and Ron Logan is they were all alcoholics. So they could have met sometime in a bar. Who knows?
Yeah, totally. And, you know, when it comes to RL, you know, and the flannel shirt guy and having those questions, that would have been really freaking nice for follow-up questions when it came to RA statement to the conservation officer. They would, that would have been really good follow-up questions they could have done a long time ago instead of that clerical error. Do you think it's going to be transferred out of the 150-mile diameter, radius, whatever? Because really, if I'm not mistaken, it excludes every county in Indiana except for the bottom 5, right?
Right. If it comes to a major city, it's coming to you.
Yeah, I know. And
by the way, you are not qualified, nor is anybody in this show qualified now to serve on any jury. So
no, not at all.
No, please nobody lie about that, because you're going to screw up the case if you tell them you've never heard of the
yeah, I know too much. I would but I'm definitely going to be there if it does, for sure. I'll be doing some whatever it is. I'll be down there. But I just found that interesting.
I need you to cover some live reporting for me, EvilleCJ, if it comes down to
you know what? I'll get one of those microphones, and I'll even wear a dress shirt and a tie for it, right? But yeah, I just found that crazy. I was like, holy crap, there's only 5. And I'm like, what other cities in those 5 counties are actually decent enough to be able to be in the jury pool? And then I think it has a really good chance of being transferred, because you hear the arguments from the defense of why it should be, and they're all pretty legitimate reasons. They really are.
Yeah. The only thing I've also heard that could be, so they could say no, right? They could say no. She could move it to her own area of Fort Wayne and say that's far enough, right? That's about 100 miles. If she moves it in further, I mean, I think it was like, it wouldn't be in a major city that could handle it, like, what is it, near Santa Claus, Indiana, and all, you know what I mean? Like, just areas that they're not going to take it to. But they also could do where they sequester the jury, and they can bring in a jury from somewhere else, and the jury then would just be in the county and hear the case.
Right. So, they stay in a hotel.
Yeah.
They've done that. Stay in a hotel, so you're locked in, but you're still kind of existing in a normal, weird way.
Yeah.
But man, if this trial goes a long time, that's going to mess with people's mental too.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot for people to have that. And, and that would be hard, because how are they going to, they're going to walk out in Carroll County to, let them go eat or something like that. No, they aren't, because they talk about how infected Carroll County is, for people. And it's like, of course they were. Of course they were. You can't, I mean, I'm shocked anytime I meet anybody in Indiana who's never heard of the Delphi case. But
same here.
That's just me.
It exists. No, it's true though. It exists. Like, I've even asked people, and they're like, "What?" And I'm like, "I'm not even from here, and I freaking know about it. Like, how do you not know about this? It exists. So it really does."
Yeah, I mean, my whole group that I met that helped me with my channel, none of them are in Indiana at all. They're all over the place. So, but they've all heard of it.
You guys do an amazing job too.
Yes, I have a good group of ladies that we all met because of this case. So I've made some good friends because of it.
Yeah, you guys do a really amazing job. So you're not sure when you're doing your next live? You're still in the process of doing it?
Yeah, I want to make sure I've caught everything. I get a little meticulous.
I know. You don't wear that cap and have that magnifying glass for nothing. That's what you're about. And I appreciate it too, because you do an amazing job. I could never compare at any moment on the job that you do. And it's people like you that I totally appreciate, because you do such an amazing job with the facts and giving it to us without the fat that needs cut off, and in an elegant way, but with so much information that you can just walk away from any video or stream and just totally feel like you know a lot more than you did before you came into it. And it means a lot.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I just try to make sure I don't miss anything. Like I said, I'm going back over all of the documents of it and including everything, we kept calling it our fill in the blanks, right? We're going back
Ad libs.
but we're filling in all of the blanks that we didn't have before. So like when Keegan Klein was doing this, or when Richard Allen was doing this, but now we knew, when the FBI formed an office, when they increased the award amount for the award for trying to get information, and just all that kind of stuff with including like some television clips and stuff like that to also support it. So so I've been working on that, and then like I said, I started watching and getting some more info together for the Baumeister serial killer, because that one right now, they really need help in trying to find DNA to match the 25 other bodies
Oh my gosh.
that they have from there. And so I'm trying to get that all together, because not only to update about the case, but to spread the word, because they're saying not only in Indiana, but surrounding states, especially Ohio, that if you have a missing loved one in the 80s and 90s, about contacting the Hamilton County office in order to share your DNA so that they can see.
Whoa.
So that's why I wanted to go ahead and do an update on the case, but also because
Whoa.
we need some action called to that about people's families sending DNA. So
Wow. Well, I can't wait for that one.
yeah,
Holy crap.
it's like which of the two I finish first, right? It's like, okay, maybe
Right.
I'll do this one. Maybe I'll do this one live. Maybe I record the other one. I don't know. It's just like I put two at the same time, and I'm trying to do research on both, and there you go. So
Well, I didn't get notified of the last one. I was so disappointed about it, and, because of YouTube being dumb. So I went ahead and I unsubscribed and subscribed again and changed my bell. So hopefully that gives me the notification, because I definitely want to be there.
yeah, that one was a last minuter, because we said, oh my God, we hear that they're going to drop the probable cause, and we're like, okay, how much time should we give? And we were all waiting. We were all waiting for it to happen. And then I said, okay, I'll set it out for 30 minutes. And then it's like, and then you guys can keep an eye, and I'll watch Discord and stuff for that. And so I had all the other stuff done that I wanted to talk about. And then, so while we're in the middle of that, then boom, that dropped. And so it was just like, we just did it quick, because we're like, we already had stuff for a show set up, and then we could just add the probable cause affidavit in it. So, but
Okay.
yeah.
Well, I mean, you support me. You
But
support
I'm
me
like-
so much, you know what I mean? And I was like, I was so bummed, because I was like, damn, I wanted to support her so much, because she's always supporting me,
Oh no, you
So-
always talk about my channel, so I appreciate that a lot.
Okay. Well, I
And
just
even
wanted to
though
make
there's
sure.
lots of information here. Please feel free to come see me over there too. We have fun as well, but we're not as chill as EvilleCJ, but
Hey, you're about the facts, and
Yeah.
sometimes you can't be chill. You have to be blunt and upfront, and that's just how you have to do it. Otherwise, you'd be having 6-hour videos with all the information you provide in them. But you do a beautiful job of cutting out the fat, getting to the facts, getting to the point, and just making anybody feel so much smarter after that. So I want to thank you so much for joining tonight. I really
Yes.
appreciate you
Thanks
hopping
for
in,
having me.
seriously.
I
And
And
yeah.
thank you everybody in chat too for being here. Appreciate it. Hit the like button.
Yes, please do. It helps any of us out, whether it's a video, a community post, or a live stream. It just helps no matter what. It's the free way to help, and that's the best way to help, because the best things in life are free. So, but I want to I want to thank you so much tonight. Anytime you want to hop in, I'm going to start opening the panel up again. So anytime, you don't even have to ask. Just knock on the door, and you're more than welcome to anytime.
All right. Thank you so much. Talk
Yeah,
to you
thank
later.
you. Alrighty,
Bye.
have a good night. And I'm going to go ahead and end the stream this evening. Another good one. Good chill Saturday night. When it came to the open panel karaoke, well, it was pretty much just going to be me. So I think we'll postpone that a little bit. And then when we have some other people that would like to actually hop in here, then we'll go ahead and do that. But I just want to thank you guys so much for being here every night or whenever you're able to. The support, whether it's in a live stream, a replay, any of that stuff, it just means so much. It's nothing but positivity, beautiful brain stew, and just great conversation, but also being respectful and factual while we're having our speculation. So without you, the show wouldn't be what it is. And because of you, I want to thank you so much. And I can't wait for this to grow to what I dream it could be one day. But I just want to thank you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. And I hope everybody has a peaceful and positive evening. And I can't wait to get into this Brian Enton stuff tomorrow. It's going to be awesome. But thank you all so much.
Thank you.